friends. So I am just trying something new. I hate to be the person watching someone, but I really wanted to jump into my Stand with Destiny series of videos because I feel like this video in particular is going to show just why that's the case. This man is such a bastion of everything that's right with the left-wing party right now. And to have people just denigrate him and tear him down for things that were not even his fault, for behaviors that are entirely human, for allegations that are ridiculously false. I just think it's unconscionable. So I just wanted to do this because I haven't watched him watching it, but I've seen a bit of the video. So I'm hoping he addresses some of her concerns so that we can kind of put some of the stuff to bed. He's already made so many videos telling his side of things and explaining what really went down and following the lawsuit as it progresses. And so I just think this is going to be a really nice opportunity for him to hopefully address things one more time, maybe to a bit of a wider audience. This person has a 100 and something thousand followers. So yeah, we'll see. If not, no worries. I'd love for the next pieces that we do in this sort of Stand with Destiny series to really be more so about the real work that he's doing with political action and with trying to make a dent in the rhetoric that's coming in from the right. So without further ado, let's jump into his latest live stream.
Sociopath, predator, troll. Why Destiny is alone, and it's all his fault. How am I alone? What does that mean?
Right, exactly.
Excuse me. I have my chat with me right now. I have thousands of loyal Dalabanians.
Indeed.
It's a long-time flaw of the American left, as nebulous a phrase as there's ever been, that we can't really seem to get along or agree much on anything. Who's a tanky? Who's a liberal? Who's a sock damn plant for the DSA? Or who's doing good praxis or whatever? Yet, as the right wing continues to create coalition after coalition of divergent yet similarly aligned ideologies, conglomerating everyone from incels to backwoods boogaloos to college Republicans, libertarians, neckbeard metrosexuals, and more, like the most unfuckable Katamari of all time. The left of America has had a really hard time putting aside what are ultimately, in the face of concentrated power of an authoritarian movement that has wormed its way into every aspect of American life, very small differences. And a lot of that comes down to personal taste. Some people don't like streamer A because he's icky or interviewed some people they don't like. Some don't like YouTuber B because she said something they took in bad faith and therefore cut all ties with her. Some people don't like this politician because he tweeted something years ago, etc. There's a lot I could say here about the parasociality of relationships with political figures, and because most concentrated power is interested in maintaining the current social hierarchies, most actual leftist content creators who advocate for...
Just as a quick thing, I hate this word parasocial, and I hate that the word parasocial ever became a thing. It is common for people to somewhat identify with the people that they like, whether you're talking political content creators, politicians, actors, musicians. Like, you follow people, you follow their journey, and you identify to some extent with those people because you've got things in common. There's nothing parasocial or wrong or weird about if a person you're following does a bad thing and you feel bad. That's normal. Or if a person you're following gets married or has a baby and you feel glad, that's a normal thing. There's a term, it's an old like psych literature term. Nowadays we use terms like parasocial, obsessive, whatever this, but there used to be a word for this. It was called empathy. Empathy is when we feel things that other people feel. It's not abnormal or strange or pathological at all. It's pretty fucking normal, okay? Jesus.
Random assortments across Twitch and YouTube are ultimately doing their best with a Patreon or Twitch income to stem the tide of misinformation that's propped up by literally billions of dollars in astroturfed right-wing funding. For example, Hasan isn't funded by George Soros, but Turning Point USA was started with fund money from a conservative philanthropist, and the Daily Wire was started with seed money from oil billionaires. All of this is to say that leftist infighting, while a time-honored tradition, is stupid. With little institutional power to achieve our goals, every effort to achieve anything that might prevent some suffering is seemingly undercut.
And yet here we go. Leftist infighting.
Just as much from our own side as it is any conservative effort. Meanwhile, as the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk has shown, the comfortable liberal and intelligentsia classes would rather close ranks with conservatives that actively target them.
There's AI programs now that can like make it look like your eyes are looking at the camera, but like you could at least get a iPad or something or some kind of prompter above your camera. If you're doing a YouTube video, I don't know why you would make it so obvious that you're reading a script. Like, it's a YouTube video, just memorize it line by line and then, you know, cut or whatever. I don't know.
Comes down to it, they have class consciousness, even at the expense of their own safety. Leopards eating people's faces and so on and so forth. Barry Weiss's recent turn from being a reasonable lib to a useful cog in state-run media is a perfect example of this. But for all our infighting, there are a few things we probably should agree on. For any smaller battles and quibbles we are willing to set aside, we must be vigilant in defending the communities we seek to help, and so we cannot accept any predators, abusers, or people who are so self-interested they really only seem to care about themselves to the exclusion and detriment of others. You saw the title of the video. Let's talk about Destiny.
That's me! The Spectacle.
Stephen Bennell II, commonly known by his online monikers, the Omni-Liberal and Destiny, is a sex pest, socially inept loser, deadbeat father, and all-around pedantic dipshit. Okay, I got that out of my system, and I'm just joking. If you're a Destiny fan and you're already triggered, well then you're probably just a lot like him, in that, like Destiny, you probably have no problem lobbing similar insults at people, denigrating others based on perceived feelings, yet once that same standard is turned on him, suddenly it's a low blow. You might even designate the things I just said as straw men, or...
They're not straw men, but they are absolutely ad hominem attacks, which are traditionally thought of as being like a loss immediately. Like you have nothing substantive to say except for asshole, dipshit, whatever. You've already lost this argument, whatever it is you're trying to say.
Start off strong. I get very, very, very mad when people call me bad words, by the way.
Some other pedantic debate tactic. If you couldn't tell...
I don't know how... Oh, man. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm glad I'm only doing 30 minutes of this. None of that was
good.
pedantic.
This is like 3
These
hours
would just be
long.
tactics that you would agree or disagree with. I don't know what is pedantic about saying you don't want somebody to insult you. I don't understand. And also...
blow. You might even designate the things I just said as straw men.
I don't know how any of those things could be straw men either, but okay, let's go.
Or some other pedantic debate tactic. If you couldn't
Pedantic.
tell, yeah, we're going to be using the word pedantic a lot.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Somehow, this picture you'd see if you looked up the definition of the word man-child has managed to become something of a mainstream touchstone for representing the online left. In the last few months, for example, he was featured on CNN for a piece on how the left is meeting right-wing...
I mean, it really depends on who you're talking about, because like leftists fucking hate me, but okay.
lords on their own turf.
Somehow I feel like on the left, I don't know how this happened online, maybe it's because we tend to be younger or whatever, but somehow the party's messaging apparatus, it feels like it's kind of hijacked from people, by people who won't vote for your candidates.
One that is often characterized by un-PC language, insults, and crude humor, like this.
I mean, where's he wrong? Where's he wrong? I mean, if I hear one more, I didn't vote for her because she didn't support the Palestinians and Gaza. You're the reason Trump is in office. Like, how did they not get that at this juncture? We're in 2026. It's been a full year as of today.
Destiny sent poking conservatives by saying the kids who died in the Texas floods were proof that God doesn't exist.
Do you regret sending those tweets? I think I have to get over it. I don't regret them. I love poking the bear on the right.
Yes, mainstream media always right on time. 10 years too late. There's also this video recently. Like,
okay.
Come on, guys.
And I saw so much involvement from different gaming people, and I thought the conversations were so horrible. I was like, oh, I could improve this, and I can join this, and make this part of my content. Generally, the phrase "don't make this political" is actually people don't realize it. And I'm not accusing people of being bad faith, but that's coded language for I want to maintain the status quo. Yeah. So generally, if the environment is a certain lane, so maybe we should change this aspect of the environment. People say, well, let's not get political here. And what that means is I like the current environment. Let's not change it.
Shout out to this Wired article from 2020.
Would they disagree with me? That was a very progressive, left-leaning take. What was the point of that?
I don't get it. Okay.
Which serves as a fairly complete and often revealing profile of Stephen's various neuroses. I highly recommend you go and read the article in its entirety because it's only grown better and more relevant with time, as the several quotes I've pulled throughout the video will attest. Quote, Bonnell first waded into the online political discourse a few years ago, driven by a kind of intellectual fury. As he sees it, many of the web's most influential gurus and luminaries are bewilderingly incapable of critical thought. End quote. Yes, Destiny is primarily known for his debate skills, which I will get to at some point, but before that, I need to go back. Way back, because like every other deep dive I've done on an internet personality in the past, with Destiny joining the unenviable ranks of people like Matt Walsh and Brianna Wu, when you go back to the very beginning, you can much better piece together who this person has always been.
Oh, God. The psychoanalysis. It's always the psychoanalysis. I think that excessive pathologizing is a pathology. There has to be some name for this, where like Kiwi Farms does it, Hasan's community.
It's called armchair pathologizing or armchair psychiatry. Like I don't know who this person is, DeadDomain. Never seen her before in my life. But I'm willing to bet like $1,000 fucking dollars that she is no psychiatrist or therapist or counselor of any sort. But I could be wrong. But
does it? Ethan from H3H3. I think these guys do it. Justicles community. Like, you can never grapple ever with the things that a person says. You have to invent some grand conspiratorial way to wire it all together, or like to make it some kind of like illness or disease. Like why not just like, the only reason why, in my mind, you would ever have to try to like piece things together is if there's like a unexplainable or inexplicable massive change of opinion or something that's like difficult to account for. Otherwise, I don't know what, like, a good example of this would be for like Tim Pool. How is it that 10 years ago, Tim Pool seemed to know the ins and outs of everything happening on the ground with Euromaidan in Ukraine, but now he labels it as something completely different, and we know that he got $5 million of Russian money, right? So you have like a dramatic shift in opinion.
Right.
You've got, I mean, a literal conspiracy to funnel money to his channel via Russia. Like, this is like a thing that I think this is like you have like all the pieces here to make this argument. Nobody's ever demonstrated to me, because I got all these weird accusations of being a grifter or a debate lord or a debate pedophile or like disingenuous, or I don't believe, like what is a thing I've said where it's like, well, you're so contradictory here. How can you believe this but then also believe this, or say like, why not just like take me at my word for things? I don't know. Okay.
And for Stephen, he's always kind of been a immature, self-serving edgelord.
I mean, you literally told him to end his life over Twitter, didn't you?
I might have. I tell a lot of people to kill themselves, but I mean, like,
Wow.
I will be entirely honest. After reading countless forums, watching exposés, and countless hours of Stephen's own live streams, I will admit this deep dive has been much harder to do than ones I've done previously, at least as far as remaining empathetic to the primary subject. Usually, even with people I find personally reprehensible, like Matt Walsh or Brianna Wu, I still try to understand them through an empathetic lens, to get at what makes them tick as people and relate that to my own experiences, even if I don't agree with their opinions, their manipulative tactics, or their method. Destiny, however, defies this principle. At every turn, he has remained a unsympathetic and detached egotist, and the more I've learned, the more I have a hard time empathizing with him, because, as I'll show, there's so little to empathize with on a personal, human level.
Good. I don't like it when people sympathize at me or are having some weird engagement. Just engage with the things that I'm saying. I don't try to be a sympathetic figure. I think if you dramatically disagree with me on a lot of different issues, I think you would find me pretty fucking insufferable. But that's kind of part of my brand, right? Like, I mean, that's just the personality I have. I'm okay with that.
I think his
yeah, I think so too. And I think that's why I like him so much, is because I do agree with him on so many things, and not in the sense of we even have a shared ideology, but that if I were to take myself out of the equation, take anybody in particular out of the equation, the things that he says and espouses are just fact-based. They're just real. They're based on common sense, like the real common sense, not what the right would have you believe is common sense. So, to say like, yes, it's pretty reprehensible that these same people who are claiming that the Charlie Kirk shooting was so crazy and treated so poorly by the left are the same people who were celebrating Paul Pelosi getting his head smashed in with a hammer and driving around with Biden tied up on the back of their trucks and stuff. So I love that it's irrespective of my thoughts and feelings. It's irrespective of Destiny. He's just calling out the fact that the emperor is naked, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Although it's very strange to say that you can find ways to humanize or understand Matt Walsh, but you can't do the same for me. That's kind of strange, but okay.
Has served him professionally to expand his base and profile, but now it has led to a series of controversies that he just can't ignore anymore. This is a deeply unwell, manipulative, cold, and self-interested person. That is an assessment, by the way, entirely free of whether or not I agree with any of his politics.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Because as we will speak about at length, much of his political outlook seems to come from a place of convenience and confrontation rather than genuine conviction. Like, say what you want about Matt Walsh, but I at least believe that he believes the bullshit he says. The same can't be said, in my opinion, for Stephen.
Okay, God, I hope we get into some of these beliefs. I would just love for some of these to be pointed out. Because when Matt Walsh, after doing a whole documentary on trans people, was brought into Joe Rogan, and when asked how many kids were getting trans surgeries, was it trans surgeries or hormone therapy? His guess was like millions. He said millions. Did he say 3 million? And the actual number was like, it was like 1,000 or something over 5 years or something like that. He was off by several orders of magnitude. It was like, what?
So, fairly recently, for example, what kind of liberal would attempt to dox someone and publicly report their spouse to ICE all because they were being sued for being a sex pest? Destiny is that kind of liberal.
I'm sorry, but the first one was a repost of Byron Gaines's post, and the second one, it went by too quickly for me to see, but I didn't see any PII in that.
But like those previous deep dives, this isn't going to be a hit piece solely attacking somebody I don't like, but I aim for it to function more as a guide to who he is through his content.
Okay.
And hopefully that will answer the question of, as we try to find a way forward and build coalitions, what is the line for who we reject?
That's what you're trying to do.
And that line is Stephen,
Okay.
a abusive, narcissistic weirdo who will always try and make a bigger issue about himself.
Wow.
I feel like they've done this thing where they like
He is trying so hard to move away from the drama slop. I feel like it's frustrating because I only really learned about Destiny about a year ago, a little over a year ago, right before the election. And I've seen nothing but, him trying to get away from all of this garbage. And so it's really wild to me when he's making all of these inroads in, getting on the stage with people about really, really substantive things, like abortion and of course the political state of the world. And then I don't know, it's like every time he gets pulled out, they pull him back in. So again, this is probably going to be my one and only review or video like this in this Stand with Destiny kind of series, because it's bullshit. He's founded this DGG political action, whole space. It's a Discord website, social media platforms to help his users actually engage in the political process, to find places to protest, to door knock, get with canvassing houses, all sorts of things. So he's actually trying to make a fucking difference. And to see just no research being done in how he is literally going out of his way, spending his own money, spending his own time, using his platform to actually try and get us out of an administration that is seeking to schmurder people like her. It's nuts to me. But anyway.
Summarized me like 6 times with just like a string of like insults. But
yeah.
okay, based.
Like what
Most
have
recently,
you said?
at the time of writing, that took the form of him.
I thought she was going to go back and talk about how his history played into this, supposed narcissism. Like I've seen nothing but selflessness from this man. So it's, again, wild to me. Literally, before he jumped in, he showed how this girl is like a Hasan fan. So it's literally, so far, again, I've seen nothing substantive. So it just seems as though this is literally a hit piece, yes, to hopefully get in Hasan's good graces because he hates Destiny. And again, I think we're all above this pettiness. We got so much more to do, but whatever.
Do the whole Charlie Kirk debate me thing. Why? For what? For why? Probably
Yes, because nobody debated until Charlie Kirk was here.
the same reason he immediately went on TV as a talking head and started saying the dumbest shit imaginable as right-wingers were looking for anything they could to justify cracking down on the free speech of the left in the wake of Charlie Kirk's killing.
In response to Alina Hadder's tweet ordering people to fly their flags a half-mast in memory of Charlie, you posted on X buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday ending every conservative debate call out I do in 2026 with don't dodge bro. That's not what Charlie would have wanted. Do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side.
You have a huge audience of young men who listen to everything you have to say. So it doesn't matter. You have a huge audience. And because of that, you have a huge audience.
Or also probably why, in the middle of a public lawsuit, he is openly
I quite
harassing
literally
people
hate
in-
her.
I love that this person is
Anna
hand-wringing
Kasparian.
left-leaning talking points for the right, but I'm pretty sure what we saw, this person openly supports Hasan, who is like an anti-U.S. pro, fucking Muslim imperialist pro, anything that is contrary to the U.S. interest or whatever will quote-unquote Fed post, but in the most, I guess, like leftist-friendly ways. Okay, good one. All right.
Involved in the lawsuit, recording it, and also probably why, in the middle of a public lawsuit, he is openly harassing people involved in the lawsuit, recording it and laughing.
And while I was out with my good Nazi friend, I'll say LS for abbreviation, keep it anonymous.
Do you have anything you would like to say to the audience?
By the way, I think I've already said this. I don't know. I imagine at some point this will be public. She admitted in her deposition that she was FaceTiming Pixie when she ran across the street, so excited to see me because she's fucking obsessed with me. She was the one who ran us down in Austin, by the way. She does admit that.
And he's not even kidding. Like, she is obsessed with him. This girl is somebody who saw him walking down the street in Austin and ran out of her workplace to go and confront him. And it's nuts because he later, like, literally had the receipts to show that she was the one who instigated trying to have a relationship with him. He was like, nah, I'm good. And she went on to basically claim that, oh, they were together for a period of time and whatnot. And it's all craziness. And again, he has expressed so many times that he's trying to get away from this, drama slot.
Why are you following me?
Because I'm bored. I gang stalk in real life.
You're fucking free. You're a pedophile.
Yeah.
Since you deposed or subpoenaed her, you must have known that she lives in Texas. I don't think she ever got subpoenaed in Texas. I'm pretty sure she got subpoenaed in Florida.
You're free. You're a pedophile.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
We're going to see that clip a few more times. All of this is because
Why? Wait, what the fuck does this? Wait, are they about to do the thing where they summarize me with like 3 more insulting words again? Hold on.
Yeah. True.
we're going to see that clip a few more times. All of this is because he wants attention, and he doesn't care who his grandstanding and short-sightedness affects as long as he gets that.
Yes, I wanted her to run up to me on the street and record me and to be on her phone. I wanted that. I was so excited when I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you lived here. And oh, yes.
The thing about being an internet streamer for so long is that there's a lot of time for you to talk about your own past, something that has led Stephen into hot water several times, which is to say that most of what we know about his past is from Stephen himself. He is his own favorite subject. He was raised conservative Catholic. In 2010, he dropped out of school and was later fired from a job, citing, quote, an inability to understand others' emotional experiences, which would lead to him starting to stream full-time on Twitch.
Is this from the Wired article? Bunnell attributes this to his own failure to navigate workplace politics. I think it's something that comes naturally to me. It's very hard for me to understand other people's emotional experiences. Was that in connection to the firing? I feel like usually when I talk about this, I usually say I just didn't understand the corporate politics stuff as much. The thing that I've said before, but I understand the corporate stuff better now. I didn't realize that you're marking yourself for deletion. I had the abbreviated version of this is that I was a grave shift supervisor. I didn't have the employees to do what we needed to do on shift. And for a day shift, a VP was walking by, complained about the state of my restaurant. My manager came to me and complained to me. And she said, hey, you need to make sure that this stuff is like bussed and cleaned or whatever. And I'm like I have no employees from 4 to 7, right? I'm doing everything in front of house and I'm cooking for back of house and you want like all this other shit done. You need to give me another employee. And I think that after this happened a second time or something, I emailed the VP of food and beverage and then I CC'd my manager saying like, this is the state of the restaurant. Like I need another employee. And I was just autistic. I didn't realize like I'm basically throwing my manager under the bus, which she should have been, by the way. Fuck that cunt. But that was after that point I started to get written up for random shit and then eventually I got fired.
He's so right. And I absolutely understand how that, how empathy essentially is not the right word that he's looking for. It's politics. I had the same situation. It's so funny that he's in food and beverage and he's talking about having to work essentially as a manager under him or an assistant manager, you know, over people. You would think, okay, well, this is like a restaurant. It applies across the fucking board. I was a vice president of marketing and communications at 2 totally separate organizations. And in both cases, the politics and my inability and naivety around the politics of it all was what got me in hot water with my higher ups. And even I would say the first time I actually started to climb the corporate ladder in my first real job, I went from being like a specialist to a director. And yeah, it's like the switch flips and the office politics of it all are very real. So if you're naive like I was, and apparently like he was, yeah, it's a hell of a situation. And it'll scar you. So I get how he can feel as though he didn't understand where those people were coming from, because it's a hard thing to understand until you get that bird's eye view and that 2020 hindsight vision to understand exactly what the politics of it all were. So I see how he could say that. But again, I've been following him for a little over a year now, and he's an extremely empathetic person, extremely sweet man. Like, he's a nice guy. I love Destiny. I do not understand the hey. I feel like if people were just as authentic as he is, then we wouldn't have any problems. I think it's absolutely that's the crux of the issue, is that when you have somebody who is very real, very authentic and genuine, and you butt up against somebody who isn't, their fear of maybe being exposed, their fear of their own shortcomings being so clearly juxtaposed against somebody else are why I think they go so hard in hating on him. So that's my only guess. But yeah, I mean, poor dude. Like, it's just nuts. So again, we're here. We're not gonna stay here because this is just bullshit. We got so much more to do.
Shit. But at the time, I didn't realize I was fucking retarded. Well, I was a kid. I shouldn't say I was retarded. I was like 20 years old.
Focusing primarily on Stark.
But I don't know if this is like a difficult time navigating emotional experience. I just didn't understand the whole culture around, because Pam had told me, if you're not getting what you need to email and CC the upper person, because it was me having a conflict with a swing shift supervisor over fruit flies on the fucking soda machine or whatever. And so she wanted me to email her.
Yeah, he was naive like I was. Another thing that's fucked up about this is that what she is trying to do is establish that he's some sort of sociopath and he's unfeeling. Oh, he said it himself. He's unempathetic. He can't understand emotions. That's bullshit. In fact, what's so crazy to me is that you can't really call somebody a narcissist in the same vein as like a sociopath. It's kind of weird, because like what she's trying to say is that he's a sociopath because he doesn't understand people's emotions. And he's a narcissist because he does understand people's emotions. And that's how he tries to manipulate them. So which way is it, bitch?
And then CC the swing supervisor. But I guess she didn't expect me to apply that logic to her emailing the VP and then CCing her. But
Graph 2. From the aforementioned Wired article, quote, forced to choose between a paycheck or an education, he dropped out of school in 2010. Within a year, he was fired from his job. Bonnell attributes this to his own failure to navigate workplace politics. Quote, empathy isn't something that comes naturally to me. It's very hard for me to understand other people's emotional experiences. End quote. This knowledge of empathy, or lack of it by Stephen, is a key part of who he is. And I don't want to speculate on whether he's neurodivergent or on the spectrum or how much that plays into his behavior, but at a certain point, neurodivergent or not, if you're aware of how much of a dick you're being in your behavior and you do nothing to curb that behavior, you are simply willfully choosing to be a dick, which will go on to be the defining aspect of his personality once he gets a platform, a dickish, holier-than-thou superiority that I suspect is also part of why his audience is drawn to him.
Wow.
I am a dick. I've said that. Holier than thou? These people always project. It must be what they do. These people always project their own...
What I just say. What I just
like
said.
their assumptions that they're perfect or that their moral character is unimpeachable. I've never said this about myself ever. I've never made these claims. Mm-hmm. But like other people claim that I do. I don't know why. And then they attack the straw man. But
and I want to return
That's
to
a
that
straw
one
man.
last time for a particularly telling paragraph that is, in hindsight, so much more revealing than I think anyone knew it would become. Quote, eventually he quit his job and made streaming a full-time gig, earning more than $100,000 his first year. But even as his financial prospects improved, Bonnell was painfully withdrawing from a relationship with the mother of his son. The two are now on friendly terms, and Bonnell sees his son often. He describes his political identity at the time as anti-SJW, against social justice warriors. These were days when words like cunt and retard would reflexively exit Bonnell's mouth, along with what has become a debased salutation on the internet, kill yourself. The comic value of the gag is measured in its repugnance. Bonnell once quarreled on Twitter with a woman who claimed she'd been sexually assaulted. At the end of their exchange, she told him to go fuck himself. Quote, I hope you get raped with a fucking shovel, she replied.
Christ.
End quote. Now, it's very odd to preface that tweet by essentially calling it a gag. We will talk more about that incident and many more having to do with Stephen's opinions and lack of care or empathy to victims of sexual assault. But to me, this paragraph was fascinating when I came across it for two reasons. One,
wait, when you say...
Before he addresses this, have they never heard of hyperbole? Or even like just gamer speak? Like it... okay.
I can't interpret this as a gag. Now, you can talk about the offensiveness or whatever of a tweet, which, by the way, that tweet was wild, okay? But this is like a 2016 tweet. I said it was wild. I shouldn't, obviously, I'm a fucking crazy person, okay? It was bad. I shouldn't have tweeted it. But are we evaluating this as though, like, Stephen Bonnell at the time genuinely and sincerely hoped that somebody would find this woman and rape them with a shovel? Like, is that the analysis? Like, I feel like that's just such a stupid...
like supposition.
I mean, like, you can do it from that perspective, I guess. But then it's like, why analyze anything? Like, in that case, I'm literally like a sociopathic fucking murderer person, I guess, you know?
Which is, again, what she is trying to establish. But again, you just need to listen to this guy for 10 minutes. Follow his shit, not him through the eyes of Asmongold, or not him through the eyes of Ethan Klein, or not him through the eyes of fucking Hasan. He's amazing. So yeah, I mean, it was funny. He's amazing because he is a dick. He's the only one out here going and digging in the left's. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, the left, but he's the only one out here really digging in the right's ass. And that's what needs to happen. I love that he goes into this whole like tit for tat game metaphor as to how game theory would necessitate us hitting back when the right tries to claim that trans people who are ruining the world, or that, the Minneapolis situation is of their own doing. It's just insane. So like the fact that he's literally like the only one punching back on this kind of stuff, that's why I like him. So she had a point. Yeah, we like him because he's a dick. He's the only one who's actually hitting back. The only one. Like, I love Brian Tyler Cohen. I love Luke Beasley. I used to like Dean Withers. I'm a little put off by him. I like them, but they're too nice. they're too professional. They're too sweet. You know, the only one out here going hard is Destiny. So that's why, again, we're gonna stand with Destiny. All right.
We now know that Destiny has been a primarily absent father, which is probably at least partially why his son has now descended into white supremacist circles.
Being Destiny's son, right, you're gonna have like a lot of more like, you'd imagine you'd have a lot more like liberal ideologies being raised by somebody like Destiny. So like, what point was it where you kind of like came into your own and formed like your own separate belief system?
It was kind of around a few months ago. I started talking to a lot more creators.
Thoughts on Hitler? Don't get me banned, bro.
Ooh, a great guy. Great guy.
This despite the fact that Destiny said many times throughout the years how active he was.
Despite Destiny saying Hitler is not a great guy.
His kid's life.
Correct?
Yeah.
Are you involved, or is...
Yeah, I lived there until he was around 9. Then I moved to California, and then Florida, and then anytime I travel, I try to visit him afterwards. So
gotcha.
I get to Nebraska tomorrow to hang out with him.
You said he's 9?
Yeah. No, until he was 9. He's 12 now.
Okay, gotcha.
Before we move on from this topic, I want to draw a parallel here between some of the things that Nathan, Destiny's son, says about his personal struggles.
If we think that I'm a Nazi, though, wouldn't that just be further evidence that I am influencing his political beliefs? Isn't that kind of how that works? No?
Yeah, I like being mean to people online. It's fun. I like being responsive to people. I like the attention.
Do you think that your dad is like proud of your social media stuff? Like, would you say that your dad is proud of you right now and everything that you're doing?
No.
No?
No, because I tell Nathan all the time to fuck off with this crazy social media shit, which he should, by the way, if you're listening.
No.
Why not?
I'm kind of self-destructing. I'm destroying my life basically, but and I don't do anything to stop it, and I know that I am.
And some of the ways that Destiny has spoken about his own struggles in the past and how they manifested.
Well, I was left pretty much to my own devices growing up. My parents didn't come to my concerts or, come to the school plays. Holy pathologizing or pathologizing, yes!
Were very edgy, shonen-esque figures where people like Solid Snake or whatever in JRPGs and shit.
Where's my Cloud Strife quote?
A pretty individual person. This has its ups, it has its downs. For me
Solid
personally,
Snake.
But apparently you're the monster, very like behavior. I mean, like, I think there's a world where you can deep dive on a person's history because you might be interested in figuring out, I guess, like where their belief system comes from. Or again, like I said, if there's something that's hard to explain. The annoying thing, I guess, for me is I'm so transparent about my lifestyle, for better or for worse, about like the research I do on stream, about my thought process on stream. Like, I'm pretty transparent about everything. So it's just annoying when I'll say like 5 or 6 different things, and then like, losers like this will be like, we have to figure out what he really meant. Like, what's actually going on here. It's like, why not just like, you can just like listen to what I'm saying. There's not a mystery here to be solved.
major benefit.
Not only that, but like, I've never seen his son until this moment. I've literally never seen Nathan until this moment. The only time he ever talks about Nathan is if somebody else brings him up, and he only talks about him positively. He loves his son, but he does not involve him in his work. He does not encourage him to get online. He's never shown his face. So the fact that, like, again, been watching this guy for over a year now, well over a year now, and this is the first time I've ever seen his son, is wild to me. That she's trying to insinuate all these things about how he raises this kid, and then she's the one to essentially expose him and his, I guess like the mindset that most white male teens go through with this whole, red pill shit. It's really sad to me that she would put him out there like that, because Destiny never has.
Like an insurmountable benefit.
And I want to draw these two parallels because this is just one of many examples we will see of Stephen not really understanding how his actions affect others. So, for example, how his son is seemingly dealing with many of the same things that he dealt with because of his absence and short-sightedness. The other thing I find interesting is the way this profile of Destiny, written in 2020, goes out of its way to give him credit for personal growth while calling out the horrible things he said in the past. But the way the profile is written gives the impression that while he came up in transgressive and awful internet circles, it was around 2012 that he reflected and began to grow as a person, moving into liberal politics and away from reactionary edginess. The problem with that narrative established is that the tweet mentioned in the context of Destiny starting streaming in 2011 is actually from an incident in 2015. This might seem like a minor nitpick, but it cuts at an undercurrent of much of Destiny's coverage in the...
Bro, I grew up as an insanely online, like crazy internet person saying insanely unhinged shit. And in 2012 or 2013, I think is when I stopped using faggot as an insult because of an experience I had in Poland. That was like the start. Do people think that this like change happens in a month? Like what? Like, oh shit, my whole idea. Actually, you know what? Unironically, I will tell you this as a life advice thing for a red flag. If somebody has a massive political change or shift that happens in the course of a month or two, especially if they go from one radical ideology or belief system to another, that's always a huge red flag. It means that the person doesn't have any kind of like consistent, coherent way to generate beliefs or thoughts or feelings. They're not doing any kind of like actual genuine reflection or change. And they just like to adopt extremist radical belief systems, usually because they're looking for a friend group or a community that they belong.
Not only that, but did she not just fucking say 2015? Are we not talking about over a decade ago now at this point still? What the fuck?
Want to belong to, basically.
In the mainstream, and that is giving him way too much credit and goodwill. Because this trend of Destiny getting goodwill that erases the things he's done is...
Legit questioning at Destiny, but have you ever discussed what happened and why you stayed with your ex, etc.? Obviously, if that's all private, it's one thing, but maybe that would help discredit their claims. But when people are attacking your personal life, there's nothing to discredit. Like anything you release or talk about is always going to be used, more against you. Like me and Nathan's mom staying together. Well, probably maybe not together, but being closer. Obviously, is going to be more beneficial for being a parent. In terms of where he should live, like his mom and the family system that he has around there would be way better than anything that I have out of state. What do you want me to say? Like, but I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I'm a perfect parent, or there aren't things that I could have done better, or there aren't times where I definitely like optimized for career over potentially sacrificing career stuff and staying in Nebraska. Like these are all things that you could make the argument for, but it's just to like to weaponize these things to pathologize my political beliefs is, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But hey, listen, go off, Queen.
Is important because he just continues to do them. He continues to say shit like this to this day. For example, this article also mentions that he was inspired to start reflecting on his politics when he saw a friend call a gay person a slur, but the article fails to mention that in 2018, he was suspended on Twitch for spouting that same word. These outbursts, by the way, he doesn't really ever take any kind of responsibility for. And when...
First of all, I was the first person on Twitch to get banned for that, number one. Number two, I don't understand, I do understand. Oh God, this is such slop. Like, there's a ideological difference, but there's an ideological difference between doing a thing versus like having it as part of your belief system and defending a thing. So for instance, if you were, let's say that you're a person who's like, I think that smoking is fine and good, and then you do or don't smoke, like that can be a thing that you a belief system you have and a belief system you support. maybe 10 years after that, maybe you no longer support smoking, you don't think it's good for you, you don't smoke yourself, you tell other people not to smoke, but then let's say you have a bad habit and you kind of get caught smoking a couple cigarettes. That doesn't mean that your prior statements were hypocritical. It doesn't mean you don't believe in the thing. Like, it is possible to fuck up. Like, that can happen, you know? Also, fuck that Graves player. I remember that guy. And you know what? I should have brought the shovel tweet out against him. No. I mean, like, yeah, sure, I shouldn't call the guy a faggot. That's not good. And I got a 30-day ban for it. But it's also like, I feel like it misses the point a lot of the conversation of 2012 or 2013.
Okay, so my brother actually had a kid way before I did. And I have a degree in cognitive neuroscience, so I knew very well that spanking was a horrible thing. You never want to do it. So I always knew that I would be a proponent of gentle parenting. So of course I would tell my little brother who is trying to raise his son, hey, don't spank your kid. Don't yell at your kid. Talk to your kid, all these different things. And so then I remember I was just on the phone maybe a couple months ago with my little brother, and my now 6-year-old was about to do something where she was going to spill something all over herself very hot. And I remember saying, hey, Clout, stop. I yelled at her. And my brother, oh my God, the sanctimoniousness in his voice when he said, I thought you were never going to yell at your kids, it just pissed me off so bad. And that's why, because it's not like I suddenly feel like, oh, well, fuck it then. I guess I'm going to go punch her in the fucking face. Like my whole belief system around gentle parenting is suddenly moot because I yelled at my child. It's like, no, I still believe that it's wrong to yell at your children and spank and scare and hit your children. But yeah, I fucked up and I yelled at my kid, but it's not like my entire ideology is wrong or has shifted or changed at all because of that. So yeah, I feel him on this one.
But hey, you know what? Listen, I don't know what you mean. Like, when people also drop this word a lot too, where they're like, no accountability. Like, I got banned for 30 days. What do you want me to say?
These outbursts, by the way, he doesn't really ever take any kind of responsibility for, and will instead continually chalk up his Twitch bans to being targeted by crazy radical leftists or whatever.
But that's not every single Twitch ban. A lot of them were crazy and ridiculous, but that was probably a fair ban. Now, it was the first time anybody got banned on Twitch for saying that word, but I mean, hey, it was a fair ban. It was part of their slur, hate speech policy or whatever. But what else am I supposed to do? Do I need to go on like an apology tour and find every gay person and tell them I'm sorry?
While he's tried to reshape his image over the years and even claims to have phased words out of his vocabulary, at his heart, he is still the same person who said these things. He never...
Like, what? That's such an insanely deranged take. But okay.
Never really lost his edgelord side. He just found a way to monetize it and get attention from it, which is what I aim to illustrate by laying out a timeline like this. So let's go back to the beginning of Steven's streaming career. It was 2011, so being an abrasive, dickish tryhard was in vogue, and Destiny...
This is not 2011, but okay.
Got plenty of notoriety for his place in the trend. And it's in this origin story that we see the saplings that will become the shrubly man that Destiny is now. Much like Matt Walsh got his start as a sadistic shock jock, which was an early insight into his personal cruelty.
What are all these comparisons to Matt Walsh? Like, the fuck?
Destiny started as a transgressive, immature, rage-fueled gamer feels like a guide to everything he did next. Over the years, it's become clear, for example, that Destiny still loves some offensive humor, and by offensive humor, I mean he almost certainly just says racial slurs in private to his friends. I'm not aghast by this behavior, by the way. Don't mistake me clutching my progressive identity politics pearls.
Yeah?
I just think it's cringe to have the same go-to playground insults as a middle schooler. He still calls people the R slur like he's playing...
But like, bro, I don't know if there's been more like embarrassing / humiliating / revenge porn shit of me leaked everywhere on the internet, including Ethan, the pedophile, fucking H3H3. Like, everybody on the internet has posted so many of my DMs and everything. Notice how there's never, ever, ever, ever been a DM leak of me being like, yeah, that guy's an N-word. Oh yeah, blah, blah, oh yeah. Notice how like that's just never, ever happened. And it's not even because I'm too good for it. It's just not even like really part of my vocabulary. I'm just not like a very big racial slur utilizer. It's just not a thing I do. Just because I defend the principle of the thing doesn't mean that this is the only humor that I have or the only go-to stuff I have. Like,
what's funny is when I was first learning of Destiny, that was actually something that came up where he was in a stream with a bunch of people, Black people who were, I don't remember very well, but it's something something happened where they asked him if he would say the N-word. And this was like my first point of, ooh, am I wrong to be feeling this dude so much, or what's up? Because he essentially said something along the lines of, yeah, I'd say it. I don't give a shit. Like, it's a fucking word. Who the fuck cares? And they just lost their shit. They were like, oh, you're a racist and da 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 da. And I was like, you know what? No, it's not that at all. It's not that at all. I've had friends who white friends who want to say it. They find any excuse to say it. It's a desire in their heart, to say it. Why can't I say it? You could say it. Why can't, that's not Destiny. I think what Destiny was trying to convey in that moment was, it's just a fucking word. We have bigger fish to fry. That shouldn't and doesn't determine whether or not someone's racist, because, if they are a gamer and they say it and whatever, or they say it with their friends or whatever, but they're not out, supporting the systemic racism or institutional racist practices or falling into their own implicit biases, that it's like, okay, well, race, to be racist means a lot more than just saying the N-word. Yeah, as a Black person, I love Destiny. I think he's amazing. I don't feel that he is racist at all. He's part Cuban, first of all, so he is a person of color himself. But yeah, I've never gotten those vibes from him in the least.
It's such a shallow engagement with everything, I guess. I don't know.
Xbox Live in a 2009 Modern Warfare 2 lobby. In leaked messages from his own server, for example, as recent as the last few months, he still says shit like this. And I'm sure if there are any loyal members of his audience left after his various controversy.
Like, are we, this is also a thing that I fucking hate these people for. All of these people are subhuman fucks, okay? The idea that, and even if you want to be critical of a white person saying nigga or whatever, that's fine. Listen, I don't say it a lot, okay? You don't like a white person typing whatever, that's fine. But to equate this to calling somebody like a racial slur, you should have your internet privileges revoked from you. Like, it's so fucking retarded. And it drives me so crazy. People like this need to go to a camp. Clip me and put me in the next stupid slut video you're making me.
So what I just say, like, it's not a hard R if you're saying it in private with your friends. These are clearly private messages that somebody did a control F for that span 2 years. Like, who gives a fuck, dude? Like, it's not even like, again, like, none of these are like, oh, I hate niggers, like, I see nothing to be concerned about here. I have friends who I know, like, I have a pair of white boyfriends who I adore. They're probably two of my best friends, and they are friends. And I know that they say it to each other. They don't say it to each other in front of me, and they don't say it to me. And I don't care, like, don't involve me in that. That's not a word that I use or I want to use, the ER or the A. And so, it's just, this is a nothing burger of the highest magnitude, because it doesn't mean anything. Again, it does not mean that you are racist. Again, this nigga is not a racial slur. Yeah, I don't like that people say it. I genuinely wish that white people didn't. But again, what are you going to do when you're between friends on a private thing? Like, that's just fucked up that all his shit got leaked. Poor dude. Because this is the kind of stuff that people will use to try to say, oh, you're racist. When it's just parlance. I just don't care.
People sit here and say, well, Hasan and his entire community is spamming and calling you Gusano as a slur against you because your family has a half Cuban background. That's actually based in okay. But you using a word that can be used as a racial slur, but not necessarily as a racial slur, that's actually the worst thing ever. It's such a mind-numbingly stupid fucking critique. Like, it's so retarded. It's so stupid. I don't know if I'm trying to think if I've ever been my single time in my life And again, it's not like I call people fags a lot because listen, that's an RTS word. We said that. I don't know if I've ever called somebody like a racial slur as an insult, but I do know, I don't think I have. Well, besides the Goog incident in StarCraft. That was different though. I didn't know he was Korean. But I shouldn't have said that either. But regardless of anything I've said or done, I've never defended the concept of calling people slurs, which is one thing that I noticed that a lot of these, a lot of people that will bring up my N-word debate with Hasan, we'll talk about this, like my defenses of edgy humor or edgy jokes, but that doesn't mean just calling people slurs. Like, that's not a joke. Like, I've never said like, oh yeah, you should call black people the N-word. Oh yeah, you should call this person, whatever.
Right.
Like,
First Amendment.
I don't think I've ever defended that ever. It's just not a good thing to do. Right? Like what? Yeah, but okay.
See, they're typing angry messages in my comments, already calling me maybe some of these words, or trying to debate me, bro. Laying out some long-winded diatribe about how using slurs is actually totally okay, and you should focus on his actual arguments instead of
which
how
he
delivers them.
does
But
not do.
I'm not interested in that criticism because,
like, it's just such a low IQ. It's a low IQ thing. Like, again, it goes back to the thing of like the shovel tweet or whatever, right? This is a tweet that was way too fucking edgy, insanely inappropriate. Like, I shouldn't have tweeted it. But to analyze the tweet as though like, I can't believe that you really genuinely wanted that woman to get raped by a shovel. I was like, well, hold on, Jesus Christ. Like, I might have been way like inappropriately edgy or using, you know, bad language or whatever, but you think I really want a person to get raped by a shovel? That's kind of insane. Same thing with the slur thing, right? You can say that like, well, there are some words that for problematic reasons, community reasons, blah, 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 whatever, like you shouldn't say these words. Fine, sure. But to say like, you know, you're using slurs at people or whatever, to give it the same level of analysis, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of cringe, but.
as like so much Destiny does, it's just a smokescreen to distract from the glaring issue that Steven is just a incredibly immature person who's never attempted to grow up or take responsibility for what he does. And because of his massive platform, amount of connections, and sphere of influence, that consistent.
He literally just took responsibility for all of it. I like literally just now, and has consistently done so. Okay.
Recklessness and unaccountability has tangibly hurt people and continues to.
Uh-oh.
And oh boy, will we talk about the things he thinks are okay, as long as you do them in private, like how early in his career he was bragging to friends about getting bikini pictures from 15-year-olds, noting how tempted
bragging
he was.
about.
You want to see the sickest shit in the world? So many fangirls. I had one that was 15. She wanted to meet and hook up. Dude, she's 15. What the fuck? But she sent me pictures that made it so hard to say no. So in these logs, when Destiny was 23, he said that it was really hard to turn down hooking up with this 15-year-old because she looked so good in this picture of her in a bikini. He then shared this lewd image of a child with his friends and said that he's going to get arrested someday.
Imagine receiving a
back in the day, for anybody that was alive or back there in the crazy gaming times, MLG events were literally fucking cesspools of crazy shit. Yeah, I messaged my little team or whatever. Obviously, those DMs were pretty crass, but I mean, the whole point is like, A, like, there are gonna be people that DM you, they'll send you pictures, they look older than they actually are. Don't fuck a minor. Your life is gonna be over. Don't do it. If you want to like sit here and virtue signal about how, oh no, like every single person above or below this age, like the second they turn 18 or 22, they instantly look attractive, like this, I'm not here for that. If that's what you want to do, then go for it.
So to be clear, his argument here is that not only was this behavior something totally normal, and he just says that passively as if it's not going to get any pushback, but additionally that somebody being concerned about somebody in their 20s sharing and finding a 15-year-old attractive is somehow virtue signaling. This is not how it works, Stephen.
The virtue signal is the people who are like, I would never find a 17-year-old attractive ever, but as soon as a woman turns 18, now I can find them attractive. That's retarded, and I'm not even here to engage with it. And if you want, this person might not find anything attractive for a variety of reasons, but this is a retarded criticism. It's just fucking retarded. If you want to believe it, that's fine. You can also say, if you want to pretend that really old men, not just in their 20s, but in their 30s or 40s, you know, haven't historically creeped on women in their, I'll say mid-teens, but it gets a lot creepier than that. And that wasn't a hyper-normalized part of our culture, even like 20 years ago. I mean, if you, listen, more power to young people if you think that the world was never like that, okay?
He was absolutely well into adulthood by this time. These are things to keep in mind, and I will
well into adulthood as a 23-year-old. True! That's why I never mind video games.
Dive into them more fully when the time comes. But for now, just ponder how this start as a elite gamer played into the various controversies he continues to face, and more importantly, how he vitriolically and venomously reacts to anyone who doesn't fall in line with his framing of an issue. One constant since his era of calling himself an anti-SJW libertarian
8 minutes left.
Is Stephen's emphasis on basing his views on empirical data rather than emotional or opinion-based arguments. Is notable how that lofty standard can fly out the window when it's convenient for him, though, which, again, we will see plenty of. This empirical data talking point is just that. It's a talking point. It's marketing for his followers to buy into, and something he can say on public debate stages in the hopes of pulling susceptible people.
Don't you get tired of addressing the same shit over and over again? There's literally nothing new / substance of this video. Well, I said I watched 30 minutes of it because it came out today. But yeah, I mean, it's basically when you want to do like your slop hit piece, it's just a retread of all the anything you can find over the last 15, 20 years. But this time, it's going to stick, okay?
His side of the argument. This is how a lot of debates go. From the video.
That's the thing that kills me about all of this. is this has all been going on for years and years and years now. This latest, or yes, this lawsuit that he's facing has been going on now for almost a year now. And he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't had any sort of criminal allegations brought to him. I feel like there's all these, oh, he's a pedo, he does all this. Like, where are we seeing this? I think there was a whole thing about him claiming, oh, that he has CSAM, because once he was in the middle of this lawsuit, he expressed to somebody privately that, he was holding all of the evidence of the video leakage and everything that he had, in case it became pertinent to the case. He didn't want to be accused of deleting evidence or tampering with evidence. And so, it makes sense. But then everybody is like, oh, he's holding on to CSAM. He's holding on to C. And it's like, no, first of all, it's debatable whether or not the girl in question was actually underage. So, it's almost like, okay, well, even if she is, for him to hold on to something for a trial, it's not like he's got this whole hard drive full of child, corn, and that he's wanking it to it every night, and that he loves and enjoys this stuff. It's just nuts to me. Like, I feel like people can, I don't know, people can take these things and run with them so far, and make all these different insinuations when the reality is just so much more simple. Like, yeah, he had it to hold it for evidence. It wasn't like he was actually engaging in, compiling and getting hard drives full of, CSAM. I don't know. I don't want to get into it because it baffles me how easy it is to refute these things, and people just want to refuse to take the 5 minutes to hear his side of the story, if you will. So I don't know.
Tom did on him, where he followed Destiny around, he definitely uses this not like other girl style of argumentation to distinguish himself, though in practice it isn't so much that he's the lone true centrist, and more that he's a progressive until somebody on the progressive side.
Oh boy. All right. Okay, the kid is up and down here, so you're gonna probably hear periphery noise, but let's just try to keep going.
Criticizes him. You'll see what I mean.
One of the things that I like, I think one of my strengths, one of the reasons why I like watching my content is because I don't have a particular political slant. Like, I am essentially like a progressive liberal or whatever, but I don't have like any allegiance to the label, which I think is actually really important. Not just because I say like, oh, I'm not partisan or whatever, but because anytime an issue comes up, like, I can truly give my opinion on an issue. So when people watch my stream, it's like, oh, what is like Destiny's thought on a thing? It's not what's the left. Yeah, exactly.
And I know I am teasing a lot up front here, but try and trust the process.
Once again, I don't see what the issue is with what he's saying. Essentially, he's just saying that, I'm not going to adhere to what the Democratic Party would say or what the party line would be. He's giving his opinion, and it is absolutely something that, given what I've seen in the past, again, over a year, is going to be well researched, well thought out, based, and coming from a place of intellect that is far beyond what I've seen from really any other political commentator. So the fact that he's not going to adhere to just the same old shit that's gotten us here in the first place, that lost us an election in the first place, I'm here for it. So I'll give you an example. Everybody, of course, is so pro-Gaza, which is fine. And then on the right, you have people who are pro-Israel. Destiny does not feel as though just because he's on the left that he has to toe the party line with the Gaza thing. I love that he has given such a nuanced perspective on, yes, what's going on in Gaza is an atrocity. The goings on were unconscionable. And Israel is probably one of the only things giving America an in to the entire situation that's going on in the Middle East. And so the fact that we have an ally who is essentially our liaison to that entire region is something that we just can't chuck out with the bathwater. And so I love that what he's saying here is that he gives a nuanced approach. It's going to be something he's thought through thoroughly, that he's well versed in. And I've seen him do, hours and hours of research on any given topic. So it's just insane to me that, that she would put this up as like a bad thing. Like, oh, he doesn't toe the party line. He just gives his opinion. Yes. That's why he's awesome.
I'm trying to establish a through line here so that by the time we get to his most recent controversies, you as a viewer will be able to recognize the patterns of his behavior and the effects they've had.
Okay.
This is going to be a long video by necessity because of this. It's also partially because having seen him react to my deep dive on Brianna Wu among plenty of other videos, I know that he very likely won't actually get even this far without some kind of outburst telling me to get to the point or
hey, we made it,
making some other bizarre comment.
What did I react to this person's video on Brianna Wu for? Or what did I say about that video? I don't even remember. My opinion of Brianna Wu has fluctuated wildly over the past few years. The lies of Brianna Wu 8 months ago. I don't even remember. Wait, this is 3 hours? Yes. That's why I'm just watching 30 minutes of it.
About one of the figures behind me.
I don't know why, but I just know that anything involving anything having to do with Sonic is always a massive red flag. Also, this thing, I feel like I've seen so many videos or random 4chan thing, or maybe similar time, but this figurine getting cummed on. So
true! I don't know what it is, but anytime there's a subreddit or Twitter video, a figurine's getting cummed on, it's always this, whatever this anime chick is with blue hair. Is that, I don't know if that's a cummed on meme, or if that's a Twitter or a Reddit thing, or a 4chan thing. I don't know, what's the name of the person? I don't know why. Morgana? Is that what the blue-haired thing is? Or Morrigan? She's a semen demon. Is that true?
Oh my god. Semen demon.
I don't know what this... I don't know what the character is. I just feel like I've seen that figure and getting cummed on.
Big red flags. Okay.
This video clip, by the way, was my only real interaction with Steven before I made this piece.
Okay, I don't know if that was I don't know if that counts as an interaction or not, Queen. I don't think we interacted there, but okay. Sounds a little parasocial.
My only real interaction with Steven before I made this piece. I don't know what else to call that but sexual harassment.
What? Yo, what? Yo, first of all, even my 2-year-old thinks that shit is funny. Oh my god. What the fuck? Okay, I hate you. I officially fucking hate you. I wouldn't even get beyond this point. He said he's going to watch 30 minutes. He's got a few minutes to go. I fucking hate you. I Jesus fucking Christ. And you're trans and you're in the group that faces the most essaying of anyone apart from Black trans women. And you're going to throw out this bullshit false allegation on strength of fucking what? Yo, I legit hate this woman. I really fucking do. Like, first of all, I've been essayed. That's not an essay. I don't fucking get how you could even insinuate something like that. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking piece of shit. And you're taking away from people who actually have to face sexual harassment. I cannot fucking believe that she uttered those words. Oh my God.
of the figurine? Who am I sexually harassing there?
Right.
If I say I want to come on your Buster Sword, ooh, and that looks like an Advent Children to your Buster Sword too, which is another big red flag. Am I sexually harassing you? Wait, what?
I honestly don't. Now, when I decide to make this piece, as I do with plenty of my subjects, I attempted to reach out several times. I made no effort to hide my intent or my personal distaste for Destiny, so I couldn't be construed or reframed as an effort to trick him or do some kind of dishonest gotcha. As I've said and proven in pieces where I've interviewed people who would call themselves TERFs or Nazis, I don't have to like somebody to still want to do my full due diligence and get their statement, allowing them to answer for themselves in their own words. Now, being in the middle of a lawsuit, I do understand why somebody wouldn't want to sign up for an interview for a video that is very likely not going to give them a positive outlook. I'm not too bothered about that. Yet.
What? Why would you phrase it that way? I understand if you're in a lawsuit, you don't want to do a video. That's not going to put you in a positive outlook. How about you don't want to say anything to jeopardize like the early parts of your court case? Maybe? Possibly? Maybe? You don't want to say something that could be construed in some way that there might show up in a filing? Maybe?
But even beyond that, this is what she did? She tweeted him? She tweeted at him? This is not a DM? Let me tell you something. I'm a regular ass person. I'm just a regular ass bitch. I've emailed him and gotten a response. I've gotten on his chat. I'm in the destiny.gg and commented something, and he's read my chat out loud. You know, like he's very easy to get in touch with. He's on Discord. Like he's very fucking easy to get in touch with. You can literally jump in one of his servers and he'll pull you up on the stream to talk to you. He's very fucking easy to get in touch with. I'm a regular ass person and I've been in touch with Destiny. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yet, Stephen went above and beyond. His response as an almost 40-year-old man was to make a joke about fucking my
almost 40-year-old man. What? How old was I when this tweet was made? I was 35. I'm almost 40 at 35?
mother. And when I simply said, yeah, dude, sure, you can talk about fucking my mom in an interview because I'm an adult, he walked it back. He said, actually, no, I won't actually do this thing.
What? I said dig all the way in or no video. Is this sexual harassment too?
So I guess you can't say I didn't try. Well, if he is still watching, hi, Stephen. Maybe this will get you to actually watch and pay attention to this video all the way through since it's about your favorite subject.
Probably not. But I'm going to make it. Four more minutes.
You. And not taking responsibility.
He's better than
those
me.
might as well be one.
I'm already over this hoe. I really fucking am. I cannot believe she threw out the essay bullshit. Like, I'm already over her.
At this point. Anyway, back to where his story starts picking up, and more people will be familiar with everything from here on out. Now, as he moved into this debate space, his first big debate was with Carl Benjamin, aka...
That's the summary of the first 6 years of streaming is liking 15-year-old girls, abandoning my kid, doing the whatever podcast that comes way later, and the Wired piece, which was also after my... What is the timeline on this? What is the timeline on these video clips and everything? The Wired piece was when I was in... Also, this clip is right on here. So this must have been in the past 3 years. Okay, based.
A Sargon of Akkad, an embarrassing stain on Britain that just blends in with all the rest, so I'm not surprised if anyone doesn't recognize him.
Well, I've tweeted it out, but yeah, I will be able to.
Stephen Bonnell, like, I don't know, whatever you know me as. I'm known in gaming community as Destiny. I started in StarCraft and then...
Hey, that's me, 2017.
I'm on Twitch. I don't consider myself an SJW, but compared to the gaming community, I guess I'm pretty left-leaning.
You're obviously not an SJW. The fact that you're willing to come and talk and you haven't just called me a racist for disagreeing with you means that you're not an SJW.
Well, I mean, you haven't started talking yet. You might be a racist. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I think it's here that Stephen started realizing he had stumbled upon a niche nobody else had really capitalized on, debating far-right kooks in exchange for attention. And you can't deny the results. Here's a video of him talking with Nosbol Eric Stryker, and it's currently sitting at 1.5 million views.
So this is a total... So I can only debate the people that don't give me any views? It can't, like... Why can't you take me at my word for any of this? Maybe I debated them because I felt passionately about the topics, because I feel like nobody on the left was debating them, because I feel like they were easy wins. Yeah, they were some of these were high-profile debates for sure. I did a lot of low-profile debates too. Some of these were with other left-leaning people, like Vosh. Me and Vosh debated, I think, Stryker and someone else. Like, all of it was just... It's also so stupid because, especially as a YouTuber, theoretically you can frame every single thing I do as for attention, because I mean it's kind of my job, right?
Isn't that
but I mean,
point?
like, I could do the same for this person, wow, notice how all of your videos are about popular online people. Like, why don't you do a YouTube video about your neighbor across the street? Like, well, obviously, it wouldn't make any sense to do this, right? Oh yeah, I collab with smaller creators like Hasan too. True.
This is a loser topic. You have to go to another subject besides music, because it's the worst example you could have picked. Like, jazz is one of the most important contributions that America's made on the world stage.
Jazz is a bastardization of the waltz. That's what jazz music.
Wait, would you say that every single form of art is a bastardization of the art that it was derived from? You realize that every single, like, would you say that Romanticism was a bastardization of classical music, or that classicalism was a bastardization of Baroque music, or that Baroque was a bastardization of the
So you're saying
this is ridiculous.
So you're saying rap music is
as of March 2017, his debate with JonTron was one of the first big incidents in his road to relevance, where he showed JonTron to be a racist asshole, and in the process, Destiny got a shit ton of goodwill.
You can't make the argument that whites should be okay with them being...
I shit ton of goodwill. I also got a shit ton of harassment and hate as well. That was probably the most hate I'd ever gotten on the internet up to that point. I think I stayed awake all night that night just because my phone kept going off, because basically every single account I had was getting hacked or pen tested or whatever. I don't know if you call pen tested. I mean, I don't know, just people trying to hack my accounts. I guess like
becoming a minority in the countries that their ancestors built, if it doesn't apply to other countries.
Wait, we're gonna way different. Hold on. White minority versus other countries. Okay, here, I'll write this down. We're not quite on that topic yet. I'm just saying that if you're not acknowledging that there are problems that exist in these communities, you'll never be able to fix it, right? And one of the big problems I had when I talked with Sargon was this idea that like black people just need to fix themselves. Like, I mean, sure, you can say that, but this is going to take a lot longer to get these communities on board when they were aggravated by white communities for so long. You can't just tell a group of people that have been oppressed historically in the United States for hundreds of years, over the course of a generation, to just fix their shit.
Now, these debates would get Destiny an instant reputation as a left-leaning debater, yet
I have not gone back this far. Again, I've only been made aware of this person, Destiny, a little over a year ago. And so now I need to go back and watch these. What? Like, what a freaking based ass response. Like, that's exactly fucking right. And again, how is she going to show these clips clearly exonerating him from being a racist and going against actual racists, and then in the same breath try to call him a fucking racist? It makes no sense. Okay.
in that position Destiny is himself attempted to distance from. He would rather assign himself the label of a rational liberal, someone who purports to be above the left-right paradigm so he can distance himself from the radical left, which...
Above the left? Yes, that's me. Lay radical centrist. Lay both sides are the same. True.
He definitely...
Nah, he's not progressive left, but he's definitely left. Personally, I'm off the charts. Like I'm such a fucking anarchist. I say burn the shit, burn it all down. But no, I'm definitely more left leaning. I get where he sits. I think I sit where he sits, where, it's not really about, what everybody else is doing who falls under this label, but what is the best for the majority? What is going to be the most empathetic course of action? What's going to be something that helps us take care of everyone and take care of each other? What's the thing that's going to find the humanity in our neighbor? Like that's where I think Destiny lives. That's where I live. And, that just happens to be more on the left. Again, not left to a point where I think I'm further left than him. He's definitely more capitalist, okay with, with the billionaire class. Like he doesn't really espouse, I think, the more progressive Bernie Sanders, AOC type leanings of tax the rich and all that. Whereas I would say, yeah, I think I'm more along the Mom Donnie lines of, yeah, let's tax the rich proportionally, why not? Or let's just bring back the same taxes that we had, 50 years ago. Hi. Okay. Yes.
I've always had kind of like a center-left political position, which like 5 years ago in the gaming space was pretty far left. Yeah. But the scene has changed a lot over time.
Yes, it has.
And stuff has gotten way, way, way farther left. So I think the ban was because I had a position that I didn't believe that trans women should be competing in the same leagues as cisgender women.
Real how dare you? Oh, you bigot?
Yeah, basically. And I think I got banned for that. Maybe, but all they do is they tell you that they ban you for hate speech, and they don't actually tell you what it was for. But I don't see like any hateful slurs or anything on my stream, so that's my guess. But
this framing of himself as the reasonable center-left liberal allows him to critique what he calls progressives or crazy campus lefties, but rarely does he actually give a
Now, I don't want to go into a tangent, but that's an interesting point. I knew he was banned from Twitch because of something related to trans, but I wasn't aware that it was because of trans sports, and I wasn't aware that he took that position on it, that trans women shouldn't be able to compete with cis women. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that's probably where he still sits today. But I would love to not debate him, but definitely provide him with some more maybe up-to-date or accurate information on that, because I'll try to link it. But I did a whole video on this very subject. It's a couple hours long, about how basically it really doesn't fucking matter. I'm absolutely fine with trans women competing in sports with cis women, because in order to compete as a trans woman, you have to be on, HRT. You have to have been on it for a certain amount of time. It depends on the sporting institution or whatever that you're under. So I think for like certain boxing organizations, it's like a year. For like weightlifting, it's like 18 months, so on and so forth. But the reason I'm fine with it is because research shows, she likes to put her hand in, but research shows that basically trans women who are on HRT have comparable athletic capabilities, if not reduced athletic capabilities, to cis women. And that's because even if you're a big, huge dude, when you are limiting your lung capacity, which is essentially what HRT does, it messes with your blood oxygenation rates and your even like even some of your like muscle and bone density, when you're having to account for those things with a much bigger, denser body and bigger, denser bones, it takes longer for the oxygen to reach your muscles. It takes longer for your recovery rates, So it's almost like the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So yeah, like cis women actually have, an advantage over trans women because of some of those things. And so, yeah, I don't have a problem with trans women who are following the practices of their organization competing, especially in sports that have nothing to do with like boxing or interaction with another person. So I'll link that video in case you're interested, whoever you are watching this.
Why he sees them as crazy or unable to be reasoned with, aside from what usually come back to basic conservative talking points of them.
Because why am I going to sit there and shit on or trash lefties in front of conservatives? I just have to separate myself from them, because I'm not going to sit here and go on a show where they're going to accuse me of supporting, trans people in sports, up through college and professional shit or whatever else. Like I'll just separate myself and then have my arguments. But what is he? I mean, I've debated people on the far left. Like I'll do that. Now most of them are incredibly evasive. Now everybody's evasive, but I don't. Okay.
Them being crazy campus commies and champagne socialists with no real experience or cogent beliefs. He essentially says this stuff so that he doesn't have to deal with debates.
You think protests would?
That's why she's mad. That's why she's mad. Because she's taking his view on trans women in sports to be a transphobic stance, and she herself appears to be trans. That's why she's mad. She thinks he's transphobic, along with him being sort of a arch nemesis of her favorite person on earth, apparently Hasan. So that's why she's mad. She thinks he's like transphobic. That's that could be further from the truth. Like, I don't like that he is misinformed on this issue of trans women in sports. I feel like, that's easily rectified, especially because he's somebody who really values research and studies and empirical data and evidence. So I think once, he's presented with that, I don't see why he would maintain that position. He's historically been known to fall and err on the side of facts. And so that's why, like, this doesn't even bother me, but it makes sense to me now why she's so butthurt, because she thinks he's anti-trans or transphobic, and that's just not true. So again, you saw her interaction with him, her interaction with him. She has in no way engaged with his content beyond, again, seeing him through the lens of whoever else, Hasan, all that, Kiwi Farms, whatever. She has not actually looked at any of his current or even long-standing ideologies that he actually espouses. She's going by what she's seen other people say. And so, like, yeah, I get it now. I think that's quite sad, because I feel like, you know, he's much more of an advocate and ally to her than she'd even ever fully appreciate. So whatever.
Okay. Be best if they were organized by the DNC with known speakers, or more of a grassroots vibe. I mean, grassroots is the best, but the problem is there are no grassroots Democratic people now. It's all leftists and conservatives. All the grassroots people on the conservative side are trying to, like, you know, cash out into some kind of Trump support, and the grassroots people on the left are all fucking commies and losers. Also, remember, when you read
holy shit, fucking true.
Just like this, Destiny's for the status quo. He's a poor boy at heart who's benefiting from the system now, so of course he wants to support it. This is exclusively said by white people who grew up rich in this country and are just repeating shit they heard from other radicalized classmates at whatever private university that their parents are paying for. Every single time. It is always these people. It is never anybody with an ounce of actual political experience anywhere, ever. It's always people who have zero political goals in mind, and they just want to make as much noise as possible because they farm epic likes on their Instagram feeds and everything.
It's also probably because his emphasis on empirical data isn't useful to argue as much against leftists as it is against fact-averse MAGA and red pill dude bros. When he does debate people on the left, it comes across more like a child trying to act tough at a table full of adults. But even for people paying attention, it became apparent he wasn't some...
How does someone like this get so poisoned against someone that they end up watching hours of content of them being pretty good faith? That's kind of insane to watch how bad faith is read into every single thing. It's got to be mental illness to be this cynical. Well, if you're captured by a community of people like Hasan or whatever, like he builds up these myths of people. This is part of the intentional thing that happens. Conservatives have gotten so good at this with all of their media over the past few decades. But you build up this like myth of a person who is so crazy and pedophilic and manipulative and evil and blah, 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 that once you've got this like myth in mind, as long as the myth is like grand enough and the plot is like transcendent enough, then you're in a position where you can actually start to collect new information, but make it fit with like the crazy weird story that you've got of this person already. So if you see me say something that sounds really based and awesome and you agree with it, you can fit it into your prior model of going, okay, well, he's probably just saying this because he's grifting and he's trying to get some goodwill. Or if you see me being nice to like a girl, well, he's not really nice. He's just trying to manipulate that person and catch him under his evil sex cult manipulator wing. But if you see me being mean to a girl, that makes sense because he's actually misogynistic and hateful and hates this person. Or if you see me saying something that's slightly right wing, that's the true him showing through that he actually believes in this like super right wing. Like you always have like a way to kind of fit it into your new kind of conspiratorial mold. And then the biggest benefit of this is it allows you to never actually have to substantively disagree with or argue with anything I say ever. You never, ever, ever, ever have to argue with any points that I make ever, which I don't even know if this loser has.
Again, I'm cognitive neuroscience degree over here. And so like I studied a lot of this where it's physically painful. Like your pain receptors light up when you have to admit that you are wrong. So you're right. This mythos that's created around him, it's hard to chisel out of. Like, I'm so glad that I found him by way of like TikTok clips or whatever of him debating people. Yeah, because I feel like if I'd come in through the Hasan route or through the Vosh route or anything else, it's sad. I probably could have been, someone who believed those things. And it's really sad because I know myself, I feel as though like if even if I were to come in hating him, it wouldn't take much to realize, oh, that was wrong, because again, I know, I've done the work to be able to minimize that pain of admitting that I'm wrong about something or someone. And so I know for myself as well that the opposite is true. Like, I love Destiny. I think he's awesome and amazing and based and great. But at the same time, if I found out some new information, you know, that was like, yes, he's really out here, he's a serial killer of black prostitutes, or something, hell yeah, I'm gonna be like, fuck that motherfucker. You know, like, I wouldn't have a problem cutting him off. Like, it's so funny because I'm like that with my husband. Like, people, like, I have a great relationship with my husband. I love him. He's the love of my life. But like, let him fuck up. Let him cheat on me. Let him hit me. Let him do any fucking thing. And it just is not even a thought in my head how quickly I would be able to leave and be done and cut him off and be done with that situation. Let him fucking, like, literally let him do the most innocuous shit. Like I don't know, like yell at me, or you don't have to fucking even go to the extreme. So I feel like if I'm capable of being like that with my husband, and I've been like that in previous relationships, you know, and I had to work to get there to where I see people for who they are now. I don't have, what is it? Sunk cost fallacy syndrome or whatever. Like, time means nothing to me. I take you for who you are today, you know? And it's the same for Destiny. Like, if I could do it with my husband, I don't have a single fucking problem doing it with some random internet dude. So, like, believe me when I say, like, he's getting the most horrible end of this stick. And I really hate to see it, because, you know, the more I do learn about him, the more time I do sink into him, I see more and more how amazing he is, how much he's doing to help, how much we need that asshole energy when it comes to facing the right. So here's a shameless plug. He's actually going to be in London on February 28th. So check out Pangburn for tickets for his debate against Konstantin Kisin, who is a piece of shit. So, you know, we need people doing that. We need people, you know, confronting these assholes out here. You know, you need an asshole to face an asshole. And so again, I really wish we could get past all this drama slop, so that we could let him continue to go out here and fight for us and fight for you, trans woman. Like, it's insane to me that we're even having this conversation.
Argued with a single thing I've said yet, but I guess it's probably just like a 3-hour hit piece, so you wouldn't. But yeah. Do you ever get sad watching these things? Yeah, not because it's about me, but because this is like what our entire political scene has become. Like, what this person is doing to me here has also been like the conservative assignment. Again, like, think about Joe Biden's presidency. This guy was a senator for decades, vice president, was nice to everybody, constantly talked about the soul of America. His son was being investigated by a special prosecutor. He had a special prosecutor when he was president for the document stuff, the whole her shit. So his family was under attack, constant congressional shit. He got more bipartisan legislation than literally anybody on the planet thought he could. Even Sam Cedar, the Majority Report, people like that, you know, made this concession, like, damn, he got a lot of shit done. Despite all of that, if you ask a conservative about Joe Biden, well, you know, what do they say? Oh, he cracked down on free speech in 2020 and did all the lockdowns. It's like, okay, well, he wasn't president then. Oh, he was trying to control the social media companies, read the Twitter files. I did. That's not what they say. Oh, they try to do like this and this and this. And it's like, okay, he's literally a demon to you. Like, Joe Biden is like the joke was always, Gemzar had a really good piece of art about this. Like, how many people are out here committing acts of terrorism or violence on behalf of Joe Biden? On behalf of Joe Biden. What? And then on the left, you've got subhuman loser fucks like this, you know, calling him Genocide Joe. And it's like, Jesus Christ. But like, that's how detached we are from any kind of actual substantive analysis on anything. But again, I would say the conservatives have been pretty intentional about destroying the media environment to get to this point. And then obviously the far left people who don't care about actual political power getting elected, anything, you know, they're glad to throw their hat in with it as well. So Destiny, they support Hamas. Yeah, of course they do. All these people's beliefs can be predicted. My updated view of Hamas is that they are a justified form of militant Palestinian resistance against the state of Israel. Based. Good job.
Some kind of progressive stalwart. Like in 2018, where, like I mentioned, he was suspended for 30 days on Twitch for saying the F slur. This was one of many times he would be suspended, leading to his indefinite banning from...
Like, what? Why not go over any of my other suspensions? Is like we're just going to pretend that I've gotten suspended over and over and over again for slurs on Twitch? Is that what the impression is that we're giving? It is. Is that the actual fact of what happened? It's not, but okay.
Twitch in 2022. Quote, Benel was indefinitely banned from Twitch due to hateful conduct in March 2022. Esports speculates this may have been due to Benel streaming with white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who had previously been banned on the platform, while Benel speculated it was due to him expressing the view that trans women shouldn't compete with cis women in women's athletics. Oh, I jumped the gun on that reveal, didn't I? Yeah, if you need another hint that he's not exactly the most progressive person, or at the very least doesn't have any genuine convictions about what he believes, he has palled around
He's
a
never
lot
claimed to
with
be
people
progressive.
Like Nick Fuentes. This despite, in debates, calling him a Nazi.
For how you can start watching a Joe Rogan video and then go to Jordan Peterson and then wind up with more extremist figures like Nick Fuentes.
That feel when I have one dinner and it defines my entire life of loving Nick Fuentes. True.
Or maybe Lauren Southern or something like that. And then you mentioned
didn't Trump have one dinner?
But establishing that chain is a very complicated, very difficult thing to do.
Didn't change shit for him.
Though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course.
And also, I think at the beginning of your statement, you did kind of give a little bit of credence to Nick and also Sargon's point that maybe he acted out in this way because he didn't feel like he was able to discuss these issues without.
Yeah, why don't I ever get any credit for being radicalized? Like, I spent way more time with Hasan than every other right-winger I've ever spent time with. No? So why doesn't that count at all? It doesn't balance out, or it doesn't cancel out at all?
Being, isolated or, hated for it.
Oh yeah, sure, but that doesn't mean that I think that those views are legitimate or need to be platformed. I think that's a bad dichotomy, right? If somebody says like, I want to kill all black people, like, well, I'm going to fire you if you say that on Twitter, and then they go out and actually kill black people because they got banned from Twitter, you wouldn't say, well, hold on, like, should we be suppressing this man's views? He felt like he had no way to express them, and now he actually went, well, no. I mean, the idea is we need to not have people have these horrendously anti-immigrant views in society.
I do feel like it's kind of like
Also, why I hate it when people do this jump around thing, because my opinions on, especially related to free speech and platforming, have changed quite a bit over the years. But like, you can track the changes in my opinion. It's not like they just change because I hate a guy or like a guy or whatever else. I think I even said in my debate today, it's like a 55-45 opinion. It's it's a difficult terrain to navigate in terms of like how much bad shit should be platform versus not. Also, the Michael Shermer guy didn't admit it, but I think my question earlier, I think was a really good one. Would you say there's more or less free speech today on Twitter than there was 3 years ago? There was probably more. But would you say Twitter is better or worse now than it was 3 years ago? It's definitely worse. It is absolutely a worse platform. So,
Facts.
Okay. Anyway, so here's a video from 7 years ago. Let's go.
Assumption to assume that whenever people tell you to stop talking about something or they stop you from talking about something, you automatically assume that that's because what you're...
True, actually. I probably have debated Nick Fuentes more than any other person on the internet. That's probably true. Yeah.
Actually saying is true. I don't know if that's always accurate, but basically what Nick and Sargon are saying is that these extremist opinions are bred in isolation. So Destiny and Hasan, the question I have for you guys is, do you feel like it would be helpful to the society to bring these extreme opinions of the right into the fold and actually have conversations about them rather than ostracizing these people from the community entirely?
In a very careful manner.
Good job of that.
Faith actors, so like Fuentes is somebody that
all on his own right now.
Very careful areas where you can catch people out on them lying. Yeah, I would say that there's value in it. This was a horribly irresponsible statement. It empowers the fuck out of Nazi scum like fucking Nick. It is not his area of expertise. It is not something he was able to substantiate in any way, shape, or form. And the fact that you continue to appeal to, well, he was really important, only supports my argument.
I suppose liberal...
I feel like I don't know if I've ever changed my view on that over the past 6 or 7 years.
Is a pretty fitting label then, because it seems he'd rather literally ally with open Nazis by his own definitions than ever engage with actual progressive leftists. He would rather constantly chat and collaborate and chill with people who advocate violence and bigotry.
I have no problem debating leftists and progressives. They just started to avoid me once they realized, like, I debated Michael Albert, who authored the book on participatory economics, who's a leftist. I debated the Professor Wolf, who's like one of the larger left-leaning lefties, professor people, I guess. I don't even know what the fuck that guy studied in. I debated Sam Cedar twice, 3 times. Yeah, Ben Burgess a couple times. I had sort of a conversation with Michael Brooks, whatever the fuck that was. Like, what I debated Norm Finkelstein. Like, what are we talking about? That I'm too scared. I've debated Cenk however many times, although I don't even know what the fuck his political views are. What is the idea that I won't debate left-leaning figures? Wait, what?
And racism than people who technically agree with far more of his positions and the platform that Steven says he identifies with.
Something unique that I provide that I think is real.
No, what she's trying to say, Destiny, is that you won't cozy back up with Hasan. That's literally what she's trying to say. Is, oh, you won't break bread with the people that I like. That's what that is.
to some of these alternative communities is I'm like the only person that is progressive that like isn't fucking unhinged. And I think it's really good sometimes to show people like, hey, you can be pro LGBT, you can have like blue hair, be in like weird relationships, whatever, but I can be like a funny, cool, charismatic, like we can have fun and chill, and I can be like understanding of you and not be like super judgmental or try to cancel and be horrible.
I'll give him credit where it is due, as I've watched plenty.
I don't think I'm in that conversation. I don't think I'm talking about fucking Nazis. No, I'm pretty sure I'm talking about like, you might say like the word retarded, and I'm not going to sit here and chastise you or say you're a horrible, evil person. I think I'm talking about people who are like pro deportation of everybody darker skinned than me, but okay.
Many of his debate streams and interviews for research, Stephen is a gifted debater, due in no small part to his abrasiveness.
Oh, true. He talks fast, calls people names, and screams over them constantly, never giving them a chance to put together their ideas.
Willingness to trample over others' thoughts and emotions to get to a point. It makes him very engaging to watch, and if you agree with him, it gives a rousing sense of victory, watching him make conservatives scamper back from one point to another.
So she doesn't agree with him? So she doesn't agree with him about Trump? So she doesn't agree with him about immigration? And okay.
With facts and figures that disprove their assertions in front of a discerning audience. As I watched countless hours of him.
Is there a single video about you like this that doesn't claim you're somehow picky about debates? No, because this is part of the myth. In my opinion, and I stand by this more and more, I got a little bit mindfucked by Hasan's community doing this, and Hasan doing this, but he's more transparent about it now. The whole idea that like, oh, debates are cringe, guys, we shouldn't do debates. And now I can see that when Hasan was saying that, and I started to echo that, I was like, well, I guess you don't have to be a debater. That's fine. You shouldn't have to debate just because you're a political person. But Hasan is thirsty as fuck for debates when he thinks he can win them. We saw that with Willie Mack. We saw that with Asmongold.
Charlie
we saw
Kirk.
that with Ethan when you couldn't avoid it anymore. So everybody likes debates just when they think they're on the upper end of it, or on the when they have the upper hand. I think a thing that I think is really important is a person being willing to discuss their beliefs with anybody. And if you're not willing to discuss your beliefs with anybody, I think that's a huge red flag. And I think that is an unassailable point. I think that always holds true. So you have to have this like weird feeling that I dodge debates with leftists, because if I'm willing to argue with all of them constantly, then it undermines your point that I'm not confident about debating them, or that I'll only debate one side, I guess. I don't know. It's stupid. Like, it's just, this is part of the, or the 15-year-old Israeli that Hasan wanted to fuck or debate or whatever. Sorry. Whoops. This is like it's just part of the myth of me being scared of lefties because they're so smart and intimidating to me.
His debates, I found myself wondering if someone could even get to his level of popularity in the debate space without being so roughshod. If he let his opponents simply uncritically state their opinions each time instead of trampling over them for viewers' vicarious pleasure like a conversational gladiator.
And like this is annoying too, because this person says that they put in months of research, but you're not. You're just like repeating every, I don't know if this is a Kiwi Farms video or if this is like I don't know if Hasan posted or something. Like, you're just repeating talking points about me. There are debates where I'm screaming at people, and there are debates where we're just having a calm back and forth. Like, I do all of these all the time. I probably have more calm debates than more.
He meets the energy that is given to him.
Ones obviously get more views and clicks because people like to see the screaming at each other. But there are plenty of conversations I have where it's just both of us chatting back and forth. But like,
and he'll do this thing where he'll let the other person's bullshittery speak for itself. Like literally just the other day, he was talking to somebody about Venezuela, and the guy was like, well, of course we needed to get Maduro because, you know, we absolutely had to do that to get a fascist regime out of place, you know, take them out. And he was like, okay, but, you know, they just literally put the vice president in who's doing the same thing. So, you know, isn't that bad? Oh, no, it's not bad, you know, because, you know, now he's got more control. Trump's got more control of it. And Desi's just like, okay, like, sure, okay. Like, he'll calmly let the person's bullshit just speak for itself, which I think is wise, and it's hilarious. There's no ranting, there's no aggression, but it's just as effective, and I'd say he does that more often than not.
Like, they're very easy to find. Like, you just look at my. Yeah, I just had one this morning. Yeah.
How interesting would this be to watch? If there's one thing he does understand about the debate space, it's the spectacle. He understands how to draw blood from his subjects and how to get the audience to cheer in response. You can even see this in how he advertises.
Are we at 30
his
fucking
sharing them
minutes?
via social media, like intellectual boxing matches where he will square off against any opponent, like a
You
real
think
leader of the world.
You think he designed this fucking poster? You think? What the fuck?
The best high school.
Well, yeah, these are, first of all, I'm not doing the promo for this, paying burn is, but that's fine. I mean, you can say that these are advertised as like a battle debate style thing, for sure. But I mean, we're selling tickets to a live event to try to sell these out to get people to go. They are advertised as very adversarial, but like, you can also just go and watch the debate. Like, I wasn't screaming at D'Souza ever. I wasn't cutting him off constantly or interrupting him and calling him names and doing anything crazy like that. Like, those are fairly, I think it was a very contentious debate, but I would say it was a fairly cordial debate. Maybe she'll clip some parts from either of these. Oh, the other one hasn't happened yet. Maybe she'll clip some parts from this debate where I'm being incredibly inflammatory or rude or evil or
a school debate coach to test his skill hands. And when you watch him during these debates, you can see him flip a switch for debating versus media, like intellectual boxing matches where he will square off against any opponent. Like if Ryu wandered the world looking for the best high school debate coach.
And then this insult doesn't even make sense. The whole high school debate coach. Wouldn't a debate coach tell you to have like calm conversations? Like, or I didn't take debate in high school. In debate in high school, do they tell you to scream at your opponent and call them names and to emotionally dysregulate that? Like, is that, I don't know, maybe that's what they do in high school debate. I've never heard that before, but I didn't take high school debate, so what the fuck do I know?
To test his skill against. And when you watch him during these debates, you can see him flip a switch for debating versus when he's just in a conversation. He will go onto misogynistic podcasts and politely chat it up with right-wing assholes and even laugh along as they prostrate an OnlyFans girl or a feminist.
Before we do, no, hold on, you can, hold on. What was your intention in coming on tonight?
Be insufferable. Have a lovely discussion with you fine people about dating talk.
So clearly that's a lie. Are you going to continue in bad faith?
I don't know, am I?
Dude, oh my god. At this point,
you probably just kick her off because honestly, like,
he's laughing at her.
She doesn't like you or your show. She came on the show to obstruct constructive conversation.
No,
you
I'm having a good time.
No, if you like the show, you would actually be good faith.
He's laughing with her.
Does she think that me and Melina and Aaron were on their side for this? There were so many brutal clips that especially Melina farmed against this weirdo fucking Lamborghini renting, one suit owning motherfucker over here. Your takeaway from this debate is that we were palling along with them after Aaron got kicked off?
She's just weird, man. Are we at 30 fucking minutes?
Can you leave? I don't know if your friend
Fuck
wants to come
this
with you.
girl.
I will leave you
She's
guys to ask the very important questions about Stephen and Melina's relationship and diving more
Thank
into
you.
that.
That's lovely.
Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye. We love you.
Peace out.
Quickly. Quickly.
Bro, hello?
So,
Just, they're friends with you.
No, we are all friends. We all drove here together. But to be clear, just because I want to be clear, I would never make plans like fuck with the show because it hurts my reputation. I would never do.
But then when the debate cameras are rolling, he is an absolute bloodhound. One tactic that makes him look so
Aaron was being incredibly obstinate for this show, which I thought was funny, and I thought it was fine. I thought it was funny. But I mean, like, obviously you're gonna get kicked off if you do that. But I mean, if she wants to, I think it was fine. I don't know. I thought it was. This is such a stupid. I don't know. Okay, this is such a stupid critique. But all right.
Yeah, it is.
How he has all but
no, it's not all right. This was retarded. There's no reasonable
We're
world where you watch
well
that show and you
past
think
30
that
minutes,
me
friend.
and Melina are friendly towards Brian. Like, we're cordial insofar as, I guess, friendly insofar as we're not trying to like interrupt and get kicked off the show.
But also, he's doing the thing she's claiming he doesn't do. She's saying, oh, he's so aggressive and he's such a dick and he's always yelling. And then he's clearly, like he said, he's being cordial. Somehow that's not acceptable. Like, what do you want from him? I don't get it.
But like, yeah, I don't know. This is retarded. I watch my debate with Michael Brooks or Professor Wolf or with Norman Finkelstein. Again, I'm not like screaming or shouting at these people constantly, even though Norman Finkelstein was literally calling me names the entire fucking debate.
But then when the debate cameras are rolling, he is an absolute bloodhound. One tactic that makes him look so good is how
Wait, the debate cameras were rolling for that?
Right.
Those are the debate cameras. That's what you're watching that through.
It's all but memorize certain definitions to argue, likely studying up on them and other factoids before the debate. But then during the debate that makes him look so good is how he has all but memorized certain definitions to argue, likely studying up on them and other factoids before the debate. But then during the debate, he can ask a simple question like, what is democracy? Usually as a pressure point when his opponent is faltering. And Stephen will whip out Merriam-Webster-ass definitions that utterly bamboozle his unprepared opponent.
No, I'm willing to bet fucking $1 billion that she's not going to show evidence of this at all. She's treating him like he's Jordan Peterson, which he is not. What the fuck? He has never not once dismissed someone's argument because of semantics. And in fact, he fucking blasts people who do that shit. So let's see if there's a incoming clip, because I would be fucking absolutely surprised. My flabber would be gasted.
We'll see what the examples for this.
Right. Where are the examples for
It's like
this?
watching Jordan in his prime dunk on a toddler.
A democracy is where a bunch of lunatics like you can vote away my rights. A democracy is where 3 wolves and a sheep vote what's for dinner.
Where's
is that Article 5 or Article 6? I don't know what part of the
So you asked what a
So a
democracy
democracy is when
We
multiple
have-
people vote. A republic is when you have representatives that do things for you. We are a representative democracy.
Jesus Christ, she is so fucking bad faith and so stupid. Did she not watch the previous 3 seconds of this clip? I don't even remember this well. I don't think I saw this. But I'm willing to bet fucking money that this motherfucker hit him with the whole right-wing debate topic of we don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic. I've heard that shit so much, and it's bullshit. And Destiny rightfully defines that no, we live in a constitutional republic, and our system of government is a democracy. So no, he absolutely was right to correct this asshole idiot's right-wing talking point. That's what he was doing. He wasn't trying to semantically be fallacious with him by any means. So fuck this bitch. You're well past 30 minutes, Destiny. Can we be done?
The Merriam-Webster dictionary just to explain there's between a democracy and a republic, and he's the one that brought the definition up first. How is this a hit on me?
Right.
Also, is this debate in 2024? Wait, what? How am I getting attacked for this? This guy's arguing with me about saying the whole like we live in a representative democracy or a constitutional republic. I don't remember.
Constitutional republic.
Point he brought up.
They just say
That's why we're a
republic.
constitutional republic. We are both a republic, which just means you're not a monarchy and a democracy. This idea that we must be a republic because I'm a Republican and we're not a democracy because you're a Democrat is fucking retarded. Come on.
Thank you.
Additionally, when
What? That was a Merriam-Webster okay, dictionary. Okay,
That was
Jace. Okay.
he's in his debate mode, he's all
okay. So maybe I owe you guys $1,000 because she did pull up a clip. She did pull up an example, but I take all that shit back because what the fuck was that? That's not at all. Again, that is not at all an example of someone using semantics in bad faith. Again, like Jordan Peterson. Go back and watch his Jubilee if you're wondering what that actually looks like.
proof to personal attack. Look at this clip.
Also, yeah, I'm in debate mode. Yeah, we're hardcore debating each other. I think this guy had already thrown a few personal attacks at me, maybe. But this is like a very contentious, hardcore debate. This is like a hardcore debatey platform.
And he's meeting that guy's energy.
Fuck, what was it called?
I think I saw a little bit of that.
It's probably written on the wallpaper in the back. Yeah.
Former InfoWars host Owen Schroyer is floundering in front of a crowd and calls Stephen a cuck, referencing a non-controversy involving Stephen being polyamorous with his ex-wife. Stephen just laughs because he knows Owen is playing into his trap. Destiny thrives best when he can make someone else lose their cool and get desperate. He pokes and prods until they get so spitting angry they start slinging insults as he smugly stands back.
So you're mad when
even his
he gets
smugness
angry.
will keep making them mad.
Wait, what is
But
this from?
you're okay with
Or what is-
him
what is she
making
quoting from
other
for
people
this?
angry? What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, how can me out debating you force you to call me a cuckold? That's your problem, not
Right?
mine. What the
And
fuck?
again, it's ad hominem, which means that you lose. Good day, sir.
Wait, what?
Want to know what happens when you speak truth to power? Everything this guy just said. I've been censored, I've been imprisoned, I've been assaulted, I've had my businesses shut down. This guy's dealt with nothing except cucking to his wife's boyfriend.
I see those 60 days in federal prison weren't kind to you. I'm sorry that you weren't able to do the podcast.
Damn.
In prison like you want.
That was a good one.
I know that's still upsetting you a lot. Only one of us
Wow.
up here has been arrested for trying to be a part of a coup or an insurrection against the United States. Only one of us up here hates this country, and I think it's pretty obvious it's the guy that doesn't even acknowledge the results of the last election. One of the most important foundational pieces of the United States.
So
which is
stop
the
stealing
peaceful-
them. So
which is
stop
the-
stealing them.
Which is
So
the
stop
no
stealing
one is
them.
stealing it.
So
No one is
stop
stealing
stealing
it.
Damn.
He's rage baiting. It's
I'm rage
What?
baiting. He did
How?
a personal insult against me. I flipped it
Which
around.
he was very
Hold on.
kind
This was a really
about.
good. That was a really good line of attack. He did a personal insult against me. A baseless one also. Even if I was
Thank
a cuck.
you.
First of all,
So
if
what?
I am a cuck, every single time you call me a cuck publicly, I'm literally getting off to it because I'm pretty sure part of cuckoldry is humiliation. Okay, so thank you. Okay, but I flipped it around and I did a personal insult against him related to a prison sentence that he served, related to January 6th, which was related to trying to coup the government, which was related to the debate that we were having. How is that me rage baiting?
Right.
What?
Wow.
So stop stealing them. So stop stealing them.
Just don't debate at all, Destiny. That's what she's trying to say.
It's trolling. That's it. His primary debate tactics
is trolling.
He's
What, like I don't believe any
winning.
of the things that I just
He
said.
can't win. He
Like I'm
won.
grifting, like I'm just saying things just to get a rise out of him. He hit me first. He went in on me first personally. And my attack was relevant to the debate. His was totally irrelevant and personal.
Yeah. Like, poor Destiny. Like, I swear to fucking God, yo. Like, it frustrates me seeing him get frustrated at her because He's so far above this bitch. I swear to God, he's so far above. Again, I would have been done at her talking about sexual harassment. The fact that he's still here and trying to engage with her arguments should tell you right there that he's a much better person than she's making him out to be, because I would have been done a very long time ago. So fuck her.
Person is rage baiting me. That's what's happening right now.
Are no different than internet trolling, in the process exposing how infantile and often ill-informed his opponents are. But by the time the battle reaches this point, they've already lost, and every bit of momentum they throw at him, he can just turn back on them like a fucking Aikido master.
True. Thank you. I am. Thank you. True.
To give him the flowers he's due.
Thank you.
This shit is what he's good at. It's kind of an inverse of what Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk do. It did. My issues with Steven honestly aren't in his debating or rhetorical strategies.
Fuck you.
For that reason,
Well, but the thing you like about my debating strategies isn't even accurate. I do more research than any of these fucking losers on the internet, including the fucking losers that you look up to.
Exactly. And that's why he was able to flip that shit as well as he did. Even in the fucking example you showed, he researched his opponent. He researched J6. He knew all about the fucking, the conspiracies behind it that were purported and that were actual. So like absolutely. And that's what I like about him, is the fact that he's so well versed. He's so well researched. Like, and he's so fucking smart. Like, he's so fucking smart. I think later on, I saw a comment later on that he said, I don't know if we're going to get there, but he apparently said something about how he's L. He's like L in Death Note. Yeah. He fucking is. And I feel like for people to be like, oh, that's so cringe, who's gonna... He kind of fucking is. Like, I love that he's such a judo master. He's so quick-witted. He is like an Aikido master, taking people's energy and giving it back to them. But it's because he studies. He puts in the time. Get on his streams, which are hours long, where he's preparing for a debate, and you see his notes and his documentation and his citations, and that's what makes him amazing. And so, like, yeah, this bitch is, again, he's better than me.
I can have substantive debates or conversations with more educated people. Now they'll all dodge them, as they should. But, okay.
Not going to be arguing.
Well, educated people tend to hold the same stances because they are also well-researched and well-versed and well-read.
Much. Because despite differences, I think they're
ultimately... Oh, thank you. What? We should have just said this at the start of the video. I'm not here to actually argue against any of his ideas or any of the substance of anything that he says or believes in. I'm here to pathologize everything. I just want to do the psychoanalysis. This, if you were going to call anything parasocial, this is parasocial. There's this guy. I'm doing this 3-hour video on him. Yeah, what's it about? They're a horrible person. Why? What do they say or do? You gotta... So there's the Mr. Girl report. The hours of streams with Anna. These things from 2012. It's like, okay. Why not just like repost every old video on the internet about me? They could have like every single time I walk into one of these videos, a new hit piece on me, it's like it's like I'm walking into this room and it's like, oh, it's the same 100 clips or whatever, the same, not really, it's more like the same 10 clips that get played over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, look.
This is the 6th iteration.
That's where he said he wanted to murder the DDoS kid. Oh, that's where he said 15-year-olds where it can be hot. Oh, this is the one about Mia Rose where he raped her. Oh, this is the one where he wanted to mow down dipshit protesters with a car. Oh, it's like, oh, awesome, cool. Every single time. Yes. Yes!
Ultimately small potatoes compared to the real issue. How he's used his platform to hurt people, avoid accountability, and target others for harassment. I mentioned earlier how people will likely already be saying I should address his arguments instead of attacking him. But
no. Damn, I look like a serial killer here. Based?
His arguments aren't the problem. He is. I mean, even the worst things he said and argued, like his infamous support for running over peaceful protesters. Or...
He just fucking...
It was shooting! Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun! It was for shooting! Shooting! Why? Hasan talking about running him over the car is so dumb.
Supporting the genocide in Gaza. aren't based in actual political belief. They don't.
Oh my God! Oh, here
so
we
I
go.
don't have pages and pages, or dozens or hundreds of pages of stuff that I've written about supporting anything related to Israel, Gaza, or I don't have any principled stance on self-defense or anything that I've been pretty consistent on for my entire life. Oh.
But she did
more personal
research.
Convenience and understanding.
I'm so personally convenienced by my stance on Israel. Ching. More, where's my Israeli bucks? Yes.
Right. This distinction, because throughout this video, I'll be talking about the things he does believe, but I don't want this to turn into a debate about why he's wrong, but instead a discussion on why the things he's saying often either make him a hypocrite.
Oh my God.
Or serve his ulterior motives, those most often being either business related or hedonism. I've spoken many times about how I don't particularly find debates useful for converting or changing people's minds. I did a whole video on the recent spate of Jubilee controversy, so go watch that video for a more in-depth explanation of my thoughts on the debate space. I'm good. That Destiny's willingness to go toe-to-toe with almost anyone or even fight dirty and rely on insults has probably led a decent amount of people away from alt-right or right-wing leaning online spaces.
Cool.
Or at the very least that it's exposed people in those spaces to more progressive issues. I won't, however, accept Stephen's framing that he gives for this approach, which is to most often depict himself as the lone warrior of truth, the only truly rational person arguing from the left.
I'm like the only person that is progressive that like isn't fucking unhinged.
For someone in these political spaces for so long,
See, it's weird to say something and then provide the evidence that what you said was a lie. He literally just said, I'm the only fucking leftist that's not unhinged, which is fucking facts. He's the only like super progressive or, you know, like beyond centrist left person who advocated for Kamala Harris and fully supported the Democratic Party, especially in light of the Gaza situation. So like he's fucking right. And he did not say he's the only one. He's the only one. And he's, you know, he's never at once said he's better than anyone else. This fucking bitch, dude.
Knows this isn't true. He knows that plenty of other people on the left have been controversial. He's fully aware of the dirtbag left contingent. But that's a topic for further into the video.
Yeah, but the dirtbag left people are also people that I would call fucking crazy because they're all tankies and they're dirtbag in a bad way. They're just like racist and homophobic. I'm not racist and homophobic. I just think edgy humor is funny. What? Like these... maybe the distinction doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. This is why I argue about the private and public joke thing. This is why I say there's certain jokes I make in private. I just don't make them publicly. I just don't think it's worth it because I don't know how my community will take it. I don't know the type of people that hear your jokes. It's just not worth it. I don't like the dirtbag left. I think those people are deplorable, and a lot of them are just straight fucking like bigoted. I'm sorry. All the weird tweets and everything about Pete Buttigieg that came from all those fucking weirdo, creepy, whatever people on the left, that was weird shit. And it was just homophobic and it was kind of fucking strange. And I don't know. When I say, yeah, I'm not like one of those crazy lunatics or whatever on the left. Well, I guess technically I'm not including those people. I am talking about the crazy progressive people. But I wouldn't throw my hat in to the same ring as the dirtbag left people either. Those people are also like exclusively socialists and tankies and commies as well.
Video. Before that, we have some other matters to attend to. The thing that really led me down the rabbit hole to understanding Stephen better wasn't his beliefs or his platform, but the way he debates, and more importantly, who he associates with for platforming said content. Because while he and many others in the mainstream media might credit him for being a brave debater treading where others dare not, the truth is, when you look at all the facts and data, he might be a convincing debater, but he has very little real consistency aside from using shock tactics and controversy to raise his profile. And part of that shock value has always been platforming and being platformed by the far right.
Him better without...
Who have I spent more time on stream with?
Understanding him better without actually looking at any of his stuff or watching his streams or looking at his VODs or fucking anything. Like, what the fuck?
I feel like it's probably left-leaning people over right-leaning people, no? I did this one stream with Nick in person. I know I've had a few debates with him in person. I used to talk with Irish Laddie / Vosh quite a bit. I was on stream with Hasan. We would go out and do IRL streams. Maybe not a ton. And then we had a lot of on-stream time together. I feel like in the totality of my streaming time, unless there's a right-winger that I'm not thinking of. You literally created Vosh and Hasan, true. Who the fuck besides... Like, is there a right-winger... Lauren Southern? I don't think I was on stream with her much. I feel like we did like 2 or 3 debates on stream. Russian Fit, we've done debates before, but I don't think I've done... Oh, Sneeko maybe more friendly-ish, although we were trying to save him, and we failed. Rip. Dan, true. The amount of times people reuse your Fuentes stream footage now exceeds the actual footage itself. True.
Immediately, the term guilt by association pops to mind. And, of course, knowing Destiny and his followers' penchant for pedantry, I'm sure some are already writing pitchforks in the comments to let me know that just because he hangs out...
If she uses pedantic pedantry one more fucking time, pedantic,
Again. Say
pedantic,
again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say
pedantic.
one more goddamn time.
Okay.
...disagrees with doesn't make him a bad person. And I'm not saying that.
Wait, what? That's a non sequitur. Just because he hangs out with people he doesn't agree with doesn't make him a bad person. It has nothing to do with being a bad or good person. It just has to do with whether or not you share their beliefs or not. I could hang out with people who have different beliefs than me that I don't share beliefs with and still be a bad person. Like, these two things don't connect at all. But okay.
Because the way Destiny associates...
Now, you could argue that that was me being pedantic, but it's a slop essay that you said you worked on for months, so you should have your points straight, and everything this person said so far has been stupid.
People, brands, companies, movements, and groups go so far beyond merely guilt by association because he is genuinely guilty of spreading harmful ideas by helping to platform them in exchange for attention. To him,
by going on their platforms, the fuck,
and the benefits that come with it. That's...
I mean, like, yeah... But I mean, it's YouTube. Everything is going to be about business to some extent if I'm doing anything on YouTube, right? Like, that's kind of how it works. We're broadcasting and streaming all of it. You could argue that I've done a lot of real life political stuff that didn't directly benefit my YouTuber streaming stuff, right? All the canvassing stuff, all the political stuff, all the Unfuck America stuff. Like, in general, this takes away from my stream time. It takes away from my money. It's a big time investment. Sometimes it's a monetary investment. But I mean, none of that counts, I guess. No one cares about that, I guess.
Really the point underlined here.
And then if I bring this up, they say, oh, you only did that so that you could bring it up to use it in a debate. It's like, okay, well, fuck me, I guess. True. I'm just evil.
It's business and the benefits that come with it. That's really the point underlined here. He will do just about anything if it benefits...
I should just become a right-winger. You know why? Because I'll fucking say it. Doing content with Nick Fuentes is better than all of these insufferable motherfuckers. And me and Nick, you know what? We're high genetic stock, okay? Because we have the hidden ingredient that all of the master race people in the past were missing. And that is racial mixture, okay? Because diversity is our greatest strength. And me having my Cuban background and Nick having his Hispanic background makes us the strongest form of white nationalists. We're high genetic stock. We're high IQ. We can use big words. We can debate people. We can be funny. I should just become a full fucking Nazi. I have a good background for it and everything. I could just be the best fucking Nazi in the world. I'm already fucking canceled and banned from everything anyway, right? Jesus.
Him, even if it is often to the detriment of somebody else.
God, that's a fucking good point. That's a good fucking point. He just had his like YouTube demonetized. He's of course banned from Twitch, which hopefully will be overturned soon because that's garbage. He's so fucking right. Like, he is treated more like a fucking Nazi than actual Nazis. Like, this is insane to me, like, to think about that. Yeah, you got this person out here who's such an advocate for the Democrats, such a pro-left person, who's, you know, a ally to so many different groups, and is treated like fucking shit, including by this bitch. So, like, again, we're well past the time he said he would give her, and he's still here. He's a better person than at least me, and I know I'm pretty fucking awesome. So, like, yeah, this is it's just telling on itself with every fucking second. Jesus Christ.
Let's go back through Steven's history. Remember when we talked about his little Sargon of Akkad moment, the JonTron interview that sank JonTron's career? Up until this point, JonTron was a massive YouTube personality and almost overnight lost a seismic amount of goodwill, and it seems that Destiny got all of it, and he spent the ensuing decade plus burning it away, little by little.
What? Also, I like how people only see one thing. Yeah, I got goodwill from people on the left. I got a fuck ton of hate from people on the right and the lay epic centrists as well. Like, I don't even know if I don't think the internet even supported me back then, because all of the support that I got from people back, hold on, I'm so sorry. And I will give myself a lot of credit here, okay? Because I'm the only motherfucking person that could have created a space for people like Hasan to even exist. It hasn't always been that left-leaning gaming spaces were friendly, or that gaming spaces were friendly towards left-leaning people. That was a space that I basically solo carved out on my fucking own while getting shit on by every motherfucker, by getting attacked by every motherfucker. When I would go into stream chats, every person on Twitch hated the fact that I was a libcuck, hated the fact that I was a leftist liberal or whatever. All these guys, all of Train's chats, XQC's early chats, all of these streams thought that I was a fucking loser libcuck lefty. And when I debated JonTron, the people that were giving me props were like the people that were in crowds with like the Anita Sarkeesian types. These people weren't even in the gaming industry. So anybody that would have been giving me props already hates me because I say retarded and because I'm a white male. Unironically, back then that was the case. So nobody's giving me props back then that's in my community. Everybody in these communities fucking hated me because this space hadn't been carved out yet. So to say that I'm doing this thing and I'm getting all this goodwill is just not true. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, if somebody can go and check, if you want evidence, like people are hindsighting this so much, trying to say that like, oh, he got so much, why does my thing keep doing this? He got so much goodwill and blah, blah, blah. I think it took this video years, I think, to even get back to a 50-50 like-dislike rate. You guys can check it in chat. But it was like for years, this video had more dislikes than likes. This was not a well-received, popular video. Most of the people on the internet, as evidenced by the next few fights that I had over the ensuing months with fucking Ego Raptor. And I'm getting like the animator to fucking Metalocalypse, like tweeting at me that I'm a fucking asshole loser. Every motherfucker on the internet hated me after this. The only people that liked me were these people that were very far outside the communities I was in. Ugh. I hate it because like I worked so hard to create this space, and then these loser fucks like Hasan, who would never survive for even a microsecond, wander into this space thinking that like somehow they've created. It's like bullshit. You would have died. You would have killed yourself in this space earlier on. Ugh. But what are you gonna do?
Like as a gamer, as a black girl gamer, yeah, like VCs were insane. Insane. Like I couldn't open my mouth the second they know you're a girl. So like if we were to do a Venn diagram of the people on gaming chats in the early aughts who said the N-word, the hard R, who were misogynistic even before Andrew Tate was a thing, who, you know, you come on stream for 2 seconds and it's, oh, make me a sandwich, bitch. But, you know, if we were to do a Venn diagram of those people with the fucking right, it's a fucking circle. And so, yeah, for him to carve out a space in that, again, I've only been aware of him for a little over a year. So to know that that's his origin story is nuts to me, because I was there. Again, I was there in the before times. I was there with, you know, in that circle. So I saw how vicious and virulent it was. It still is, but it's definitely, again, way more open to the left-leaning ideology than it ever had been when he was coming up or I was coming up. So yeah, and I'm much older than him. So yeah, I agree with him. And again, I hate that that's not considered at all. Like how much he pioneered for us, for black people, for left-leaning people, for Democrats, for gay people, for bi people, for pan people, like for people with common sense, for people who voted for Obama, for, you know, wow. Thank you, Destiny. And fuck you to this fucking bitch. Can we be done very soon? I'm so over it. I'm so over her.
Yeah, even Total Biscuit. I'm pretty sure Total Biscuit was against me for this. I think Ethan the pedophile, H3H3, I think he was against me for this because they were all friends with each other and buddy-buddy with each other. Ugh, whatever. Dude, fuck me. You can check it on the back end and actually see the light. Oh, wait, can I? It doesn't tell me the number, but I think I can calculate it. It says likes versus dislikes are 63.2%. So does that mean that if you add up both and divide, what a weird way to show that. That'll give you the likes versus dislikes. My debating John, or fuck it, I'll just screenshot it, I guess. Nobody remembers what these spaces used to be like, and that drives me crazy. I was the only fucking left-leaning gamer guy when the whole stupid Gamergate shit came out. I was literally the only fucking person on the left in these spaces. And I got roasted for it constantly. Channel average, 93.8%. Debating JonTron, 63.2%. And that's after a long time. Like I said, it took a long fucking time. It took a long fucking time for this to even get to the 50-50 mark.
Mm.
Oh yeah, the one, the lolicon drawer guy. I remember when he... This is the one guy, right? Is it Shadbase? You said the guy from Smiling Friends draw you after debating JonTron. Wasn't that Shadbase? Or Shadman? I don't know. But, Jesus.
Little. Seems JonTron's career. Up until this point, JonTron was a massive YouTube personality and almost overnight lost a seismic amount of goodwill. And it seems that Destiny got all of it. And he spent the ensuing decade plus burning it away little by little. And from...
Wait, what the fuck? Okay.
Here, he very quickly
As
made
if
the
he
rounds through
didn't
these
do
spaces,
anything
getting a
else
bigger profile
after
every time
that.
he debated somebody like Lauren Southern.
Do you think that a Palestinian child or the family of a Palestinian child?
Israel care about that.
But dude, they don't. The bombs don't make the little shitty fucking RPGs. Don't even make it over the walls because Israel is one of the most sophisticated anti-missile dome systems in the fucking world. You're really comparing the military power of these two states? Come on, dude.
No. Okay, I'm not. I'm saying the reason they're not just sitting there bombing hospitals and schools. You can't honestly believe they're just sitting there like, you know what? Let's fucking bomb a hospital.
Israel has literally been on record manufacturing reasons in the past to march into the West Bank and fucking exterminate people, dog. What do you mean?
Okay.
But
Partially true.
because you've seen a video, you know,
Too one-sided, though. Those Palestinians are up to no good. Be careful.
every other month or whatever, every few months of people, you know, well, these.
But you know what? I horseshoed back to this position because I'm tired of hearing about Israel's bullshit. Fuck them and fuck their activities, okay?
Islams are committing terrorisms all over the place. They're homogenous people. They all think the same. Like, damn, that's not true. Like, if you go and you talk to people on the ground and you talk to a couple dozen people, you can manufacture any opinion that you want about any person that you want.
This
That's
is
the
true.
problem.
Okay, fine. Let's look at the peer-reviewed data on that by Pew Research on Muslims. Do you want to do that since you seem to like that a lot?
Do you have the
I like
peer-reviewed
that
data on Christians as well?
Bring that up. I don't know.
No,
do you have a report that shows that like 70% of Christians believe that there should be arrest and prosecution for anyone who insults their religion? I'd love to see that because that exists in the UK for Muslims.
Do you understand the problem that you just committed fundamentally? Like that already shows that your own biases, right? You just said that you went to Pew Research to find stats on how Muslims think because you're already convinced that they're bad people and you don't even know the numbers on Christians. You don't even know them.
Good point.
You know that not
Oh my
everybody's
God,
doesn't
I wasn't even on Vyvanse back then.
to live on welfare, that people have homes and families and memories from certain. These are. I know it's really hard to believe sometimes. Maybe I don't know what it's like in Canada, but these are actually human beings that have like their own dreams and aspirations and goals, and they have things that they
Who
like to do.
cares?
That the goal of every human being isn't to just move somewhere and live off of welfare, right? You know that, right?
I mean, a lot of them want to live on welfare.
I know these clips are a little long, but as I was researching, I was continually surprised to find how much more empathetic Stephen was in his early career. This clip in particular shows off an entirely different side to his opinion on the Israel-Palestine situation.
But it doesn't, though. He just understands the nuance of the other side. Like, and again, what the fuck are you watching? What have you seen?
In 2017? What this would have been after what the fuck was even going on? What the fuck? My mind is a blank from 2017 to The Great March of Return would have been 2019. 2017 might have been. No, it wouldn't have been. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of that fucking neighborhood. Fuck, I even went there in East Jerusalem with the people who fight over who has the actual documents to the apartments. Somebody will say it in chat. Oh, Sheikh Jarrah or whatever. Was something going on back then for it? But
during these debates, he often appealed to his opponent's sense of humanity and reason, and I'm not sure how or why or when that changed. But
I mean, like, it depends on the debate, right? I've said this a million times. It's person, policy, platform. Who are you debating? What are you debating? Where are you debating them? It's always going to change the way that I approach it.
But I suspect it was partially due over time to his obstinance and defiance when criticized from the left, but also he often appealed to his opponent's sense of humanity and reason, and I'm not sure how or why or when that changed. But I suspect it was partially due over time to his obstinance and defiance when criticized from the left, but also a growing and friendly proximity to the right, where he was often greeted with open arms.
I'm sorry, but the right, the center to the right don't fuck with him. Like they fuck with him to bring him on stream, sure, but it's to shit on him. Like, did you not see him on Piers Morgan? Did you not see him against even recently with the abortion chick? Like he'll go to spaces that are pro-life, right-leaning, MAGA, whatever, to debate them. They're literally arguing. They're literally against each other's ideology. So how is it that just because he's on the show that he's suddenly espousing their beliefs when he's there to debate their beliefs? Like, what the fuck are you talking about yet again? What the fuck?
Oh,
she's brain breaking me. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's okay.
Revisionist history.
This is what my midget brother Tyrion felt at the end of Lord of the Rings when they didn't put him in the book. I get it.
With progressives cutting out conservatives from every platform they can, is they lose
Lord
the
of the
ability to
Rings,
defend any of their ideas.
Tyrion.
And then at the end of the day, I think they just end up looking horrible. Like, you'll get
Yo, he said he didn't think that the two towers. Well, he said he questioned, is it really that good of a movie? And they cut off the stream immediately. So I don't really. I love Destiny, but I don't really fuck with his movie reviews or takes. Clearly, Tyrion at the end of Lord of the Rings. Okay.
like, well, what's one barrier? I think you asked, what's one barrier that you have as a woman in society? And it's like, well, I'm handicapped, I don't have any legs. Or it's like, well, I'm black. Or like, okay, what about the woman part, right? Nobody could answer that question. So you got a panel full of people that probably all have like feminist scholar bullshit in their Twitter bios. Not a single person can answer that question. So yeah, I don't know. Things like that like really bother me when people are supposed to be defending these ideas and they can't because they don't talk to conservatives anymore.
Many of these appearances.
What part of that supported the idea that conservatives welcome me with open arms?
Or that
I feel like
he
they've got
was
like
wrong. What was he wrong about that?
I feel like they've got like 50 random clips and they're like, okay, well, fuck, I got to tie these together somehow. Okay.
Even would engage with on the idea that others in his space, the perceived space, of course, being left-leaning content creators, wouldn't dare go on podcasts like Fresh and Fit or some C-tier internet debate composition because they just can't handle being outside their lefty fun zone. That everyone but Steven is just a vapid idea vampire, and being exposed to the sunlight of reactionary conservatism will do them like Stephen Dorff did that one vampire in the first Blade movie.
Please don't tell me that she's going to pick the only example person who will do the debates, because there is one person who will, but I've said this tons in the past, is Sam Cedar. He's the only guy I know who will show the fuck up like a wrecking ball anywhere. And I give him props for that. He's debated me 2 or 3 times.
Except that is very blatantly not the case. People who
How dare she invoke Blade? Leave Blade's name out your fucking mouth.
disagree with these troglodytes don't want to go into these spaces because people...
Oh, never mind. She's just going to defend them never doing it. Oh, okay.
Can't handle being outside their lefty fun zone. That everyone but Steven is just a vapid idea vampire, and being exposed to the sunlight of reactionary conservatism will do them like Stephen Dorff did that one vampire in the first Blade movie. Except that is very blatantly not the case. People who ideologically disagree with these troglodytes don't want to go into these spaces because people like this are bad faith, not looking to earnestly engage, and neither are their fan bases. But
What does that sound like?
also because, like most podcasts and just content in general, it's a pretty transparent attempt to clout chase. It has very little to do with being
So? So what? So what? Clout chase. Like, isn't the point of like doing a thing for people to see it? For people to see it? I don't understand. I really don't. Like, what is she trying to say? That you should not go talk to people who have a different viewpoint than you because you might get other people who previously didn't believe that viewpoint to now believe that viewpoint? I just don't think she understands that the reason you debate anyone is not necessarily to change that person's mind, but it is to reach their audience. It is to reach that person sitting there watching somebody who they maybe had on a pedestal get knocked down a little bit more if in case they're holding a position that's irreprehensible. I absolutely think debate is valuable, and debate with people who have opposing viewpoints is valuable. No, I will say, and this is not me giving her any fucking grace, because fuck her, but like I will say, my only gripe with Destiny when it comes to debating people who are, you know, white supremacists or MAGA or super clearly racist, clearly Project 2025, whatever, Trump lovers, whatever the fuck. My only gripe with him is that he doesn't go hard enough. I don't think he believes that these people are demons. I genuinely think he's too empathetic to them. I think he does still to this day see the humanity in people. And he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He was on some debate where some fucking dude got up and basically was like, yeah, fuck immigrants, get them all out of the country, whatever the fuck. And he genuinely tries to engage the argument. I feel like at a certain point, you know, when you know you're talking to a racist, you know you're talking to a bigot, you know you're talking to a fascist, there's nothing more to be said. Like, because not only are you not going to sway them, but the people who are watching who would already agree with them weren't reasoned into that agreement. They weren't reasoned into that belief. And you can't reason somebody out of some shit they were never reasoned into. And so I think debate falls apart in those instances where you're now trying to logic somebody out of being a piece of shit. So that's my only real gripe with Destiny. You know, when they show you who they are, fucking believe them, okay?
Able to defend their viewpoint.
True.
Points and more to do with not want to ingratiate themselves to the audiences of craven demagogues. And perhaps more embarrassing is when Destiny isn't in his debate me bro mode, he basically blends in completely with the right-wing grifters that he can admit are also taking advantage of their own audience.
All these people have motivation to expose the other side, but those people are wrong. But you, the guy who's making tens of thousands of dollars selling me a message that the government is corrupt, I'm going to listen to you for government corruption? You who has no oversight? You who has no accountability? You who's not an elected official? You who can print whatever message or lie you want, which they have?
And I want to show that he does know the function he's playing in this attention ecosystem. See, on the right kind of takes anyone with a platform. More moderate voices in conservatism will interview incredulously platform and outright.
Why not just, instead of like doing your own half-baked retarded take on this, why not just copy what I've said verbatim about this? But like, again, like I've gone back and forth in my career multiple times on how I feel about participating in right-wing platforms. This is not a unique idea that you've had. Like, this is my lived experience. And it's great that you want to come in as a newcomer who's, I don't know, 19, 20 years old and has no concept of any of the history or any of the stuff. Like, I feel like for the JonTron debate for them, this is like a thing they read about in a wiki or something, and they had no idea that any of this stuff even existed or what the actual environments were like back then. Like, I've gone back and forth on this. What does it mean to engage with conservatives at all? Where I've been, there are times where I'm like, let's be a nice reach out to everybody. Then there are times where I'm like, let's be a fucking demon. I'm pretty sure right now I'm on pretty big demon time. And they even played clips of me on Piers Morgan earlier.
Not enough.
Criticizing how much of on demon time I was. It's not like I have much ingratiation with any right-leaning communities right now. Like, we're all these right-leaning communities that love me so much.
Anti-Semite Nazi like Nick Fuentes because it's one big propaganda game. And at the end of the day, the only real consistent ideology is growing a platform. It's why there's often no scruples about immediately embracing people who leave the left with very little hesitation or doubt when someone is professed to be a liberal who wants to talk about why they're now conservative or...
He shits all over those people. It's like Piers Morgan. How buddy were they whenever he goes on stream with Piers Morgan, who supposedly left the left?
Build or whatever. What good does scrutiny do when being undiscerning gives you so much more attention? Inversely, like I mentioned at the beginning, you can't get progressives or leftists to agree on shit. And that includes purity testing certain people, excluding them based on perceived slights, lack of personal growth, or other arbitrary metrics. When I made a feature-length documentary talking to former white nationalists, people who were in like actual groups like Atomwaffen Division, and I talked about how they wanted to help others leave that kind of hate behind, I got pushback from some parts of my audience. People accuse me of platforming white nationalists and Nazis even as I spent a movie's runtime shit talking about. There are issues that require more nuance, and there is a over-eager contingent of people on the left who too often hesitate to engage with that nuance. That much is true, but that's entirely different than what Destiny does. This is all to give an example that beliefs in these online spaces are not so often cut and dry. Most average, everyday people who aren't constantly, terminally politically online are actually probably closer to someone like Destiny, or what Destiny says, in their beliefs. They have some things they think are too far on either party line. They mostly just want to live a plentiful and productive life. Fair dues.
Wow. I wonder who else has said that before.
thing Destiny does correctly assess is that a massive emphasis from leftists on identity politics have likely ostracized and even pushed otherwise well-intentioned people further right because of things like that.
It's the way that I see it.
Cringe. Don't misunderstand what this fucking loser means when they say that. Anytime you see a fucking loser fuck like this talk about, oh, the left focuses too much on identity politics, and you're thinking, oh, cool, they've understood this thing and they're going to change it. What they are is it's always some tanky fucking disguise who's like, can we please stop talking about black people? I really want to talk about how evil America is. Can we please stop talking about women and bigotry and all this shit? I really just want to talk about like class-related stuff because that's the only fucking thing I care about. And when I have a one-dimensional view of society, it just makes everything so much easier to criticize. I just want to talk about the billionaires, please. Oh my God, it's so cringe.
Yeah.
On identity politics.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's almost always bothered me. It's almost always bothered me when people go so hard about the billionaires and the donor class and all this shit. And I never understood why until this fucking second. It's because it's fucking racism. It always goes back to racism, always. But whenever you bring an issue up about African Americans, black people, whatever, POCs, whatever, you're invariably met with, oh, it's not a race thing. It's a class thing. You know, it's not about race. It's about money. It's about poor people versus it's class. And that's the biggest fucking microaggression going, because it completely dismisses the fact that everything very much is about race. It very much is. And it's because you don't want to face that uncomfortability of all of it. And so like he's hitting the nail so squarely on the fucking head. And I never fucking got why it was so icky to me. Like I got the fucking ick so bad when people were like, oh, you know, it's the solution is this. The solution is billionaires. And yeah, tax them motherfuckers. But at the same time, that's not addressing the crux of the issue. That's not really identifying the real problems with America, which are race and religion, you know, and beyond class or money or anything. It's fucking race. So like, yeah, I agree with him 1000%. It's misogyny. It's bigotry. It's xenophobia. It's all these things. It's hatred. The fundamental nature of all of it is fucking hatred and bigotry, you know? So yeah, I 1000% agree.
Ostracized and even pushed otherwise well-intentioned people further right because of things like that.
It's the way that I see it is that you kind of got like this progressive establishment that has basically, through all of these kind of like academic terms, have like built up this idea that you can say like men, white people, the Mayo side, blah 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 blah. Yeah. But like every other racial minority is super protected. Can't make fun of black people, can't make fun of Hispanic people, can't, right? And then if you're white, there's like 50 million things to worry about. When you have that type of attitude and then it becomes pervasive on your side, then I mean invariably there's going to be other people that will start to speak to the disaffected people.
But then he will make blanket statements about anyone further to the left of himself. In the process, he's often doing it to court favor with whatever dude bro podcast he's filling in on. Because in these moments, he's capitulating to them. He's showing the right-wingers who will take anyone in that he is the reasonable liberal, not the crazy campus lefty. In effect, he's doing the exact same thing that he often accuses the left of doing to conservatives. Lumping them all in because one or two people he doesn't like are there. I'm sure...
No. What? If you think I've lumped somebody in that's not fair to lump them in on, then point that out. But me saying this is the left-wing contingent of politics that I disagree with, and I don't think I've ever identified somebody as part of that who's not, and I'm not like this for these reasons. It's not me lumping anybody in together with anybody. My issue with the right is that when they talk about the left, they're not usually talking about anything that's representative of center-left Democrats at all. Like this person just said, 5 minutes ago, most people who are Democrats, believe it or not, even though my messaging is kind of extreme and I can be kind of wacky and crazy sometimes, most Democrats are probably closer to my political beliefs, actually are absolutely closer to my political beliefs than fucking Hasan or any of the dirtbag leftists or whatever. Like, that's probably just true.
Many.
So I don't think trying to separate myself from people who are further left than me, I don't think is lumping everybody together. I don't even think those people would disagree with me.
I don't think he's trying to separate himself from them as in, we want to excise this contingent of left-leaning people. I think he wants to separate himself from them ideologically. And I think it goes back to what he was saying about how he has Stephen's beliefs, Destiny's beliefs, And then the left has the left's beliefs, and Democrats have Democrats' beliefs. I think that's what he's trying to say here is like, it's not about, I want to separate myself from this group and never work with them or never hope that we can all come to consensus on anything. If anything, that's something he rails against, is that, you know, the right, they're in lockstep with every fucking thing. You don't see them arguing amongst each other. You don't see them, you know, oh, well, I'm not going to vote for Trump because he doesn't believe. And, you know, they don't give a shit. I'm not going to support Trump because he said he was going to release Epstein files and he didn't. They don't care. It's been a month since he's been legally obligated to do so and hasn't. And they're still there. They're still supporting this Venezuela shit. They're still supporting ICE. So, you know, Renee Good was a terrorist. So I've never heard him say, you know, that he wants to separate himself from the left in that regard. He's not trying to like literally, tangibly do that. He is trying to separate himself from the fact that they can be fucking insane and they can be tankies and they can be so pro-Pally and they can be so like anti-Biden and anti-Kamala Harris to the degree that they sit out voting or vote for third parties and get Trump put into office. So, you know, no, I understand exactly where he's coming from.
Analysis, like who am I lumping together, or who am I saying is further left than me on some belief that's just not true?
Would argue there's a honey vinegar dynamic that by going into these spaces and presenting reasonable fact-based arguments to counter the narratives being sold to often young men is a good goal, which I might agree with if I thought most of the people Destiny engaged with acted in good faith, but they
don't have to act in good faith. The point is you're always aimed at the audience, not the people who are doing the podcast.
Thank you. Did I not just say that?
Opinion. Maybe ever. They're too market captured to actually change their opinion, or they could just be stubborn, right?
Don't. They're merely using Destiny as a tool.
They're not reasoned in. You can't reason them out.
Social beliefs to Destiny's very large and already transgressive audience, and he knows.
My transgressive audience?
I'm transgressive.
I hardly have any trans people out. Just kidding. Stop. The what? I feel like my audience is, for a political streamer of my size, who's not like a wacko crazy lefty, especially given that they tend to be younger, I feel like we do pretty good when it comes to bigotry or anything else. Like, put my audience up against anybody else's, I would feel comfortable that my audience would win that fight.
There are often incendiary and antisocial beliefs to Destiny's very large and already transgressive audience, and he knows this. He knows that these people aren't arguing in good faith and that they're using him for his audience. It's a accepted byproduct of our content ecosystem.
Shout out to DGG.
An almost unspoken quid pro quo system where, for example, I'll be invited onto a podcast and later on I'll hit up one of the podcast hosts to then go and be on my podcast or join me on a charity stream, each of us being able to expose the other's audience to reach each other in a mutual game of growth and therefore profit. Make no mistake about what's happening here. Every time Destiny has gone on a podcast or debate where someone may have been presenting as hostile to him, it was because of the views he thought that encounter would get him. And when you're a content creator,
again,
okay. Oh, my back. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he might not be done with her, but I'm so done with her. The fact that he has not once like even brought up that she's trans. He's not once even alluded to the fact that she's trans, you know, is wild to me, because like that's the first thing I noticed. And like, why would you fucking, you know, as a trans person, again, literally beat down like the only influencer out here actually like fully who has your back, who fully is supporting, you know, the administrations that wanted to, you know, formalize and codify your protections. It just, yeah, fuck you.
Like, yeah, but I mean, like, it's like that's kind of the goal, right? Like, if I have a political idea, my goal is to expose as many people to that idea as possible and to convert people to the political ideology that I have. Well, of course, as opposed to what? Going to the most politically ineffective places, or just preaching to the choir, or going to places where I don't feel like I can convert any person to my side. Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, what Obviously, I don't understand what this is even. This isn't a real critique. This is like a truism. You're just trying, like, imagine saying this to, it's not the exact same role, but imagine saying to like a politician, oh, well, actually, I'm sorry. People do say this to politicians. People will say shit like, oh, well, you're just doing this to get more votes. It's like, good, they should. They should try to get more votes. They're a fucking politician. Their goal is to get elected and to do things that more people want so that they get more votes. That's the point. Like, yeah.
As hostile to him, it was because of the views he thought that encounter would get him.
But also, I'm sorry, even while I maintain that and I'll defend that position, I go on more small podcasts and talk to more small creators than any motherfucker on the internet that's my size or people that are even smaller than my size. I brought so many random people on. I've talked to so many random duders. I've talked like, I gave that stupid fuck interview to the guy who ended up clipping the interview and trying to use it as an attack hit piece against me. When this guy, how many views did this guy even have on his YouTube channel?
So would you say
40, this guy didn't have 50,000 subs on YouTube, and he's politically different than me, and I agreed to give this guy an interview. Off stream, I didn't even stream or record it. I don't even have the fucking whole interview that I did. Whatever. When was the last small podcast that Hasan went on? Seriously, you want to talk about Clout obsessed?
And when you're a content creator, that is one of the most important things possible. I know this as much as Steven.
What's up, Stephen Bennell? I'm only 20 minutes into this 120-minute video. Got a lot of weird things being said here. Free content for you, my man. It is indeed.
This discussion of the numbers or the success of a stream or debate and how big and therefore successful it will be is something that lingers in the shadows of many of his discussions and appearances, but it's there if you look for it. They constantly joke about how well a video is going to do and what's going to make good content. Even slightly more recently, in a debate from 2022, he's able to assert that Nick makes tens of thousands shilling conspiracy theories to illustrate how Nick has an established interest in spreading misinformation. This was after collaborating with Nick Fuentes for several years.
Before we jump into this,
Collaborating with Nick Fuentes for several years?
What?
Excuse me, what? Do you think I've done... I'm trying to think.
Jesus
my memory does suck or something.
Right.
Do you think I've done more or less than 10 stream appearances in my life with Nick Fuentes? Like we did...
And they're all adversarial, or they're all like
few.
opposition. Like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to think if I've done more or less than 10, maybe more or less than 15? I feel like I've probably been on stream with Nick Fuentes more than or less than 15 times in my life. Like we did the big Asmongold hosted debate, obviously. I know that I did we did the live stream or whatever where we did the chicken and waffle stuff. We did there were at least a few with Sneeko. I think, I'm pretty sure. I'll add 3 or 4 to that. We did a Ukraine debate, which would be another one. I feel like it might have literally been Destiny. Guess an exact number. I have the answer. Do you have the answer? I don't know. 9? I don't know. What's the exact answer? It's going to be like 27. There's going to be some time where we did like 7 streams in a row and I forgot about it. Oh, no. You're one of the wiki guys. How many? Oh, fuck. Okay, 17 times. Still, over what time span is that? You did the debate about immigration and the Hart-Celler Act? Oh, true. That's true. Oh, there were 2 debates for that one, right? From 2017 to 2024.
Out of which, how many
Several
were they
years of
on the same side?
We did the immigration debate in 2017. He was on a panel debate. I totally forgot about this one. With Lauren Southern, no bullshit. Lauren Chen, when she was roaming millennial. Another immigration debate. The big Scuffed podcast episode. The Kill Stream episode. Oh, he called into this one, right? I think. This was I don't remember this one, 2022. Fuentes teams up with Infrared Haas versus Destiny in impromptu debate. Okay.
Versus
and then me and
Destiny.
Rose Wrist debated Fuentes and Baked Alaska. Lauren Manifesto leads
Trigger
the Fuentes shouting
Fuentes.
match. 2022 was probably this Red Pill era would have been my most active.
So how are they collaborating?
She should have just said she should have restricted it to 2022.
How are their collaborations at all?
But even in 2022, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would have been my most accurate. 9 streams in a year for somebody that streams every day. 17 streams over 7 years is we did content together for several years.
Interest in spreading misinformation. This was after collaborating with Nick Fuentes for several years.
Before we jump into this, okay, I just be clear about who you're talking to and what the goal of the conversation is, okay? Nick has a political movement, a political ideology. His goal is not to sell you truth or to sell you a critical thought process. His goal is to sell you his political ideology.
This is me collaborating with Nick, by the way.
So if he comes across some idea that's contrary to what he believes, or some thought or fact that is contrary to his beliefs, he's not going to tell you that, and he's not going to incorporate it into his world. He's only going to give you the piece of information that he uses to sell his ideology.
He talks about how he knows why Nick has audience, and how spreading that misinformation plays into that.
It's good to ask questions.
Yes, yeah.
But you guys don't just ask questions. You guys believe in literally every single fucking conspiracy in the world. Do you think the government
At the end of that clip, which is on Destiny's channel, shows Nick and Sneeko, and they've gotten Destiny to agree to another debate, gleefully exclaiming that they're about to red pill so many people.
Are you being paid by the government?
Give me a time and a date. Bro, you're getting paid to tell people exactly what they want to hear. That's the difference between you and me. You're getting paid to tell your audience exactly what they want to hear. Are you making money doing what you're doing?
Hardly. We have some Turkish payment.
You're about to fly to fucking Florida to have a little vacation. What happened to that 400,000 in crypto? Listen, obviously you're getting paid. You're getting money. You're not broke. 9/11 debate on the 22nd.
Let's go!
At 6 p.m., okay?
Dude, Sneeko, we're gonna red pill everybody.
It's a fucking 5-hour documentary, though.
It's good content. The controversy he gets by these people simply
What
engaging
is-
with him is why he does it.
What
This
is
a
the
particularly interesting
gotcha?
case Because
Why just the controversy? It
What
can't
is
be
the
because I
gotcha?
genuinely believe in any of the underlying points. Like, yeah, the controversy is part of it, but I mean, like, it's politics. There's always, like, you can't divorce the two. Like,
No.
every single political figure that is of note, like AOC, you know, did back and forth controversy with the Democrats and other people at time. Bernie Sanders had a whole controversial presidential run. Donald Trump is probably the most controversial, divisive figure in U.S. political history. Like, it's politics.
had such a close proximity to one another for so long. In a 2023 Fresh and Fit podcast, Nick even says he's trying to be...
Wait, what? Had such close proximity?
The controversy he gets by these people simply engaging with him is why he does it. And Nick is a particularly interesting case because they've had such a close proximity to one another for so long. In a 2023 Fresh and Fit podcast, Nick even says he's trying to be Destiny's friend.
I do, you know, and by the way, and I don't hate you. I disagree with you, but I don't hate you. I try to be your friend. That's okay. One day you'll come around.
He also has an obvious respect for the sniveling worm.
But
So that means they're not friends. What the fuck?
What does that imply, though?
Right?
One day we're going to be friends. It implies that I'm not. No, isn't that the implication there?
I don't
Nick
get
Fuentes.
it.
In the 2025 clip, he is ceding to a fan of Nick's that he performed poorly in their last debate and chalks it up to Nick being an ideologue, talking about ideology which Destiny admits he's just not good with.
I watched you for years. After watching Nick for a year, I can say leagues above you. Yeah, I think the last bit I had with Nick was fucking pathetic. And then the second one I had with him over immigration stuff was pathetic. He's good at like ideologue. If you like to listen to people monologue their ideology and just do that all day, yeah, I mean, Nick is a good guy to listen to. I'm really bad at that stuff. I just like researching shit and debating people on stuff, and I'm a little bit more just.
Wait, was this cut? The first debate I did with him was very bad. Or not very bad. It was not good. The second one, when I say it's pathetic, wouldn't I be referring to his performance? I feel like on the second one, he got destroyed. Because when I did the research and I came back for the second one, he couldn't counter any of the talking points. He was just, that's when I realized, oh, he's just an ideologue. I'm curious if this was cut to make it sound like I feel like I did poorly on both those debates.
Ideology and just do that all day. Yeah, I mean, Nick is a good guy to listen to. I'm really bad at that stuff. I just like researching shit and debating people on stuff, and I'm a little bit more discreet versus kind of like narratively driven. But
These brief conversational...
I watched you for years. After watching Nick for a year, I can say leagues above you. Yeah, I think the last bit I had with Nick was fucking pathetic. And then the second one I had with him over immigration stuff was pathetic. He's good at like ideologue. If you like.
Source, Destiny. Somebody leave me this video. Oh, you're right. I understand what I'm saying. It was a pathetic. It was pathetic. But if you're good at, if you like to listen to people just fucking drone on and on, then, or I shouldn't say drone on. For people that give you like an ideological, narratively driven story or whatever, you know, those people can be entertaining to listen to. But when I'm saying pathetic, the first and second debate were pathetic. I'm saying that his performance was pathetic. Okay. I understand what I meant there. They're trying to make it sound like I thought that my performance was pathetic. Okay.
I watched you for years. After watching Nick for a year, I can say leagues above you. Yeah, I think the last bit I had with Nick was fucking pathetic. And then the second one I had with him over immigration stuff was pathetic. He's good at like ideologue. If you like to listen to people monologue their ideology and just do that all day, yeah, I mean, Nick is a good guy to listen to. I'm really bad at that stuff. I just like research.
Yeah, she's saying the opposite. And then she's, I guess, combining it with this clip. I don't know if this is from the same thing or not. Wait, what's my outfit?
If you like to
oh no, this is probably from the same
people monologue their ideology and just do that all day, yeah, I mean, Nick is a good guy to listen to. I'm really bad at that stuff. I just like researching shit and debating people on stuff, and I'm a little bit more discreet versus.
We're almost an hour in
brief conversational
to this
show a level of proximity to alt-right and far-right figures. Dare I say, a level of
horrifyingly bad
friendliness or comfort
take.
that seems at odds with anyone who would stand on their business as a progressive or even.
How do these? I don't understand how these people connect. I just need to say one thing, okay? And then I just need to fucking glaze so fucking hard. All right. One thing, I'm very critical of people like this. Like, this person shouldn't be doing videos like this. Or they actually, maybe they could, but they need to approach it with so much less bias. Like, it's very obvious that this person had a story of me in mind, and then they went out seeking stuff to try to make whatever they have fit.
Agreed.
And this person is probably worse than most. when it comes to putting together these pieces, because so much of the clips and stuff that they're showing don't really support what they're saying. But I will say, not really to this person's credit, it is very hard to make a story out of a whole bunch of discrete clips and things. Like to find a through line in this and to draw a picture and to decide, you know, this is a square and I'm going to omit this and this and this. This is a very, very, very difficult thing to do. And I know like the meme is that, you know, her videos are long and they've got like nice production quality, whatever. But ContraPoints, to take a video and to make a video that is 2.5 hours long, or any of the content that she does on her channel, to make these videos that are this fucking long and tie together so many different things, but to do it in a way that has a very clear and consistent ideological through line, where the videos and everything that you're playing are reinforcing the subpoints that you're making, that are reinforcing the...
Never heard of her. Now I gotta find out who this person is. I feel like I've learned about so many other cool shit, having started to engage with this side of things. Feels so cute. Oh, baby. But yeah, I find out about so many more cool people and stuff, like the Pangburn thing and rationality rules and all kind of really, really great content just from having found Destiny.
Overarching narrative and theme that you're getting at, and to do this in a structured way, this is so unbelievably difficult to do. I cannot imagine how many videos she scrapped, like in what stage. Maybe she doesn't, maybe she will like see everything through to the end. I can't imagine how much more she wanted to include, or like the storyboarding or whatever, or how many times she said to change course and everything. Like, it's just so hard to do this well. And when it's done, the thing that sucks is when it's done really well, you don't really notice it. It's just a really well put together thing. But like, I don't know what the fuck the through line is on this. Apparently I'm doing things for clout, but I also publicly acknowledge that there are some things that I'm not good at. And then I want to be ingratiated by these right-wing audiences, but I'm also like massively canceled by these audiences and I fight with them. I know that my audience can be poisoned by these audiences or by these content creators, but I say it publicly that they're trying to poison my, like nothing really makes sense here, but it's because this person sat down with the idea that like, I'm an evil, manipulative, hedonistic, whatever piece of shit bastard fuck, and I'm going to make a video showing that. But like for whatever you think about me, I'm just not as evil as people think. Okay. I'm just not.
He's not. And like, again, I watched the tail end of her video, so I saw the comments rolling in. Oh yeah, good job, call him out, fuck Destiny, he's a piece of shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, nothing that she says or lifts up proves anything that she's saying or lifting up. Like, it's just weird. It's weird. It's so much energy put towards tearing down someone who she never even actually got to know. You know, it's exactly what he's saying. She's Don Quixote out here fighting windmills like Donald Trump. Like, this whole video is a fucking straw man. It's her battling a straw man that just doesn't exist. That just does not exist. And again, like, her entire audience was like, yeah, get it, girl. Yeah, yeah. She needs to just take this down, but she won't, because she's clout chasing.
That evil. And to try to make a long form video that supports that narrative, you're gonna have to torture your data points, pretty hardcore to do it. And I think that's
when he said ContraPoints, who I'm definitely looking up after this because it looks amazing. But when he said there are probably so many videos that she has on the cutting room floor and this and that, I'm willing to bet that every single piece of anything that this person found, it's in here. 3 hours, yeah, it's in here.
Basically, what's happening.
Hella liberal. Back to his private combos, I found this one illuminating, where during a casual conversation with Fuentes, he talks about giving known white supremacist and racist Lauren Southern tips on getting more views on her videos.
Like, I argued with fucking Lauren about her videos, where she's like, oh, all of my stuff is deprioritized, I don't think I'm getting views. Like, no, it's not. You just don't fucking upload enough. Make more fucking videos. And she did make a couple, and some of them actually popped up on the algorithm. She did one responding to Matt Walsh, and she got like 500,000 views. And it's like, why do you think that the algorithm's not fucking? You're fucking yourself. Because that...
Two things. This was part of a multi-video visit Nick did, chilling with Destiny and his ex-wife and chatting it up. The second...
Well, she was my current wife. But I've always given props, and I will always give props to right-wingers who actually do work on the ground. I'll do that. For Lauren, it was her documentaries. For Nick, it was his AFPAC stuff. I think that leftists have unbelievably failed there. I say fail, but now with a more mature opinion, I realize it's intentional. They just don't care about political power, so they never invest anything. That's why Hasan has those Discord logs of him crying that he couldn't even get a picture of his fans out canvas.
It's true. It's true, though. It's like we say as leftists that people who are power hungry, these ambitious, gold digging, clout chasing, politically minded people are so evil. They're only doing it to get your vote. They're, they're so evil. So of course they don't want to do that and be that because they see it as being evil. So it's kind of like how all these right wingers out here are so, homophobic and transphobic, and all these Christians out here, pray the gay away. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And then they're all fucking gay. They're all fucking desirous of dick in their ass. Like they're all fucking, just, wanting to go to Thailand and be the lady boys. It's literally projection of the highest degree. It happens with conservatives who are gay in the closet, Lindsey Graham. It happens, Ted Cruz. It happens with this bitch right here, shitting on him for supposedly clout chasing while she's doing the same thing, but shitting on him. And it happens with the Democrats and the left. We use ambition as a pejorative, and then we wonder why we don't have ambition.
Whatever, or phone banking for Mom Donnie or whatever bullshit. I gave props to Charlie Kirk, before and after his death. Even Charlie Kirk was a very politically astute person.
But he did not fucking write an article about how he did politics the right way, mind you.
Yeah, for Lauren, for every right-wing person, we just saw, was it Ian Miles Chong? No, it was the other weird guy, Gromp or whatever. Both these people are in the same spot in my mind or whatever. These people will constantly complain about the algorithm is deprioritizing me and we're being selectively edited from Google and all these things are going after it. It's like, no, they're not. Upload more shit. You're a liar. I'm sorry, you're not a liar, but you're so paranoid or stupid. Like, it's just because you're not doing the right things or whatever.
Is that there's a lot of speculation as to whether Destiny slept with Lauren Southern. Well, it was speculation. It's been confirmed by leaked DMs in a video presented by President Sunday. Oh, and his ex-wife Melina also confirmed this.
I don't really know what people are speculating. Like, I think people can just put the puzzle pieces together, like, really easily, if they just look at, okay, these things happened. I even mentioned, and then people asked about it, and he said that I got jealous because they streamed so much. That's not really what happened. I feel like it's pretty clear to who is not being honest here of what actually happened. There's so many things.
What the Mel?
And so many people that have said what happened. And if he wants to deny that, fine. But I feel like, not everyone is perfect, and a lot of these people are pretty intense.
Okay.
So maybe it's hard to trust, but you can also see patterns in how people behave and stuff. She did not lie. She did not lie. And I think it's really clear she didn't lie. That's what I'm saying, because
This is one aspect of Destiny's personality.
That's a good example of how you say a whole lot of shit without saying anything. What did she say? What did she just say?
A bit for later because there's still a lot to get through, but Destiny's rampant horndoggery, or as he would put it, being too much of a gooner, as a quote, has led him, understandably, into some hot water. If you've heard about his various controversies, chances are they have to do with things like exchanging sexts with underage fans, his fantasies about age play, his sharing of unapproved revenge porn and nudes with random friends, recording sex with partners without their permission, and more, all of which we will get to. But the Lauren Southern bit is important to this current topic.
Oh, I cannot wait. It will be the final. Did I say my last manifesto was the final manifesto? This will be the final manifesto. This is going to be a doozy. It's going to be a big one.
Because at the time they were engaging in acts Southern was well known as an alt-right figure. She had cavorted with anti-Semite and eugenicist Sol Invictus, published anti-Islam manuscripts and extensive anti-feminist dribble, did a speaking tour with white identity lover Stephen Molyneux, defended Richard Spencer, and most famously harassed refugees with a European white identity group. It's not it shouldn't have been surprised that Lauren Southern was racist to anybody. In fact, it was kind of her defining trait for a long time. And look, I get it, you can't always judge someone by one or two friends, but how about the repeated themes of their life's work and the publicity stunts they constantly engage in? So
what what is the is the argument here that I absorbed through fucking osmosis, like Lauren's racism? Like, it's always such a weird, people did the same thing with fucking Empath Trend or whatever. Like, you're never, and again, there's a reason why, despite how many stupid fucking personal DMs of mine that have leaked, personal whatever, things that have leaked, nothing has ever come out where I'm talking to a person, or it's been revealed as like, oh yeah, remember when Destiny was like, oh, Lauren, Nazi mommy, I do hate Indians. I actually am racist. Thank you so much for showing me the way. Like, none of this stuff has ever existed. Like, if you want to be critical of me for my choice of partners or whatever, knock yourself out. But like, the argument that this was somehow, I don't even know what the argument is. Like, pattern of content. Like, I've been pretty consistent on most of my beliefs, especially in terms of like left-leaning, like social stuff, for a long time. I don't think even at the height of any top secret illicit rendezvous or whatever that I'm having with Lauren, it's not like, oh, remember in 2020, whenever the fuck year that was, remember when Destiny started getting radically anti-Islamic? Remember when Destiny started to become radically anti-immigration? Like, none of this was ever happening. So I don't even know what the accusation is. Or I guess maybe if you have friends or if you have romantic relations with people personally that are substantially politically different than you, then that's a bad thing. Like, I don't know.
But how about the repeated themes of their life's work and the publicity stunts they constantly engage in?
Like, what are the repeated themes of my life's work or publicity stunts that lead you to think that I'm right wing? You can say I'm a gooner, sure, but like right wing?
So at some point you gotta ask, if Destiny's willing to fuck a Nazi, white identitarian, while still calling her out, then what's his line? What?
First of all, if you saw any of those DMs that leaked, if you thought that was just a sexual relationship, you have severe fucking autism, which this person probably does. But number two, wouldn't that just be my consistency? Just because I like a certain person or have some kind of relationship with a certain person doesn't mean I'm changing my political beliefs to adopt that person's political beliefs. I don't understand. What am I supposed to do? Or I guess you're supposed to not be friends with or have any kind of relationships with those types of people, I guess.
Nazi, white identitarian, while still...
I mean, yeah. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the demons that yeah. Like, hopefully, I feel like post 2025, post January 20th, 2025, there should be no misunderstanding that these people are racist. These people are Nazis and fascists, and we ought to know that now. But I feel like before that, it was always the thing to obfuscate it. Oh, like, don't call me a racist. I'm not a racist. How dare you call me? I'm not racist. You're a racist. For even bringing up race. You're so. It was never like an owned ideology. So I feel like not only is it something that it's hard to, it's hard to address when those people themselves don't even own or didn't even own the label, but it's also disingenuous because, now you see the videos of people at Thanksgiving just blowing up the conversation and cutting people off and unfriending people on Facebook and, all these different steps that people take now to excise these people from their lives. This was not happening back when hope was still alive, that you could salvage these relationships or bring these people around, or they can't really be that bad. Yeah, they're that bad. We know that now. I'll give people grace for trying or for keeping those bridges open, before this Trump second term.
Her out, then what's his line? Who won't he platform or collab with or engage?
What does that have to do with platforming or collabing?
Wow.
I caught you last night. Caught me what? I was just collabing with them.
Now, mind you, these are not just conversations or debates. This is intimacy, friendship.
What is that? That's not my stream content, though. What? We're not having on-stream fucking... Me and Lauren go to the fucking relationship therapist counselor. What?
Platform or collab with or engage with. Now, mind you, these are not just conversations or debates. This is intimacy, friendship, with people he's willing to publicly call Nazis. Like, here's Nick Fuentes talking.
What am I? Yeah. What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? Yeah, I think some people have dog shit beliefs. Even back then, even today, I'm sure Lauren still has some dog shit beliefs that I would probably call out. I don't see her post online as much. I think Empath Chat has a fuck ton of horrible, crazy, disgusting things that she's done publicly, and she says on Twitter. I have no problem calling people. Is it actually? Hold on. I'm sorry. Is it like inconceivable that you could have friends that you have like substantial disagreements with on things? Like, is that really that hard to imagine? Like, there are definitely people that I know interpersonally that I have severe disagreements with. Look at how fucking triggered I'm getting from fucking Dan's obsession with fucking Hasan lately and his inability to call out literally anybody on the right on Twitch. Yeah, like, this is shit that drives me crazy. But it's not like, oh, I hate Dan now.
Talking about being in Destiny's Discord and talking about D&D.
I don't have the time. I don't have the time. You were playing Dungeons and Dragons when I pulled up to your stream. You have plenty of goddamn time. You have potions with more right to go. Let's go. Where's your potion? Watch a documentary.
If you your fans don't even like that content, they tell me in the group chat they think it's boring when you play D&D.
Now, for a brief out on...
Wait, what? What was the point of this? Hold on.
There was no point.
Or collab with or engage with. Now, mind you, these are not just conversations or debates. This is intimacy, friendship, with people he's willing to publicly call Nazis. Like,
she is smarmy. She's so smarmy. Smarmy.
I don't have the time. I don't have the time. You were playing Dungeons and Dragons when I pulled up to your stream. You have plenty of goddamn time. You have potions with more right to go. Let's go. Where's your potion?
Does he think I was playing D&D with Fuentes? Did I ever play I don't think I ever played D&D with Fuentes, did I? I feel like I would remember this. No. Is that what he... Is that what they... that's not what Sneako's saying.
Documentary.
If you your fans don't even like that content, they tell me in the group chat they think it's boring when you play D&D.
Now, for a brief out on who Destiny might consider morally equivalent for whether...
I don't even know what she... Was her interpretation that that Sneako thought that I was playing D&D with Nick Fuentes? She was saying that Nick was in the DGG Discord. I don't even play D&D in the DGG Discord. This is retarded. Okay.
For a reason. Check out this 2025 Fresh and Fit clip where he says his enemies are the enemies of liberalism, and goes on to accuse Vosh and Hasan of being as bad as Sam Hyde and Nick Fuentes, and says fighting them is...
Fuck! Actually, oh my god! I don't even have to be secret about this. Because fucking Lauren fucking wrote in her fucking book, one of the last times I visited her in fucking New York City, where I did have some huge fucking problems with the shit that she believed in and the shit that her friends believed in. We had a huge fucking fight over it. Yeah, it's not like privately I'm like, oh, my Nazi queen, I fucking racial superiority and blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, what do you mean? I feel like I'm pretty consistent on things that I believe publicly and the things that I say privately to people. Like, there's like a consistent through, like, oh, thank God she has that chapter in her book.
Equally important, and goes on to accuse Vosh and Hasan of being as bad as Sam Hyde and Nick Fuentes, and says fighting them is equally important.
Destiny picking more fights with other lefties instead of watching the new Sam Nick show and attacking righties. My enemies are the enemies of liberalism.
True.
And lefties, so people like Vosh and Hasan, are 100% aligned with people like Sam Hyde or Nick Fuentes in terms of wanting to destroy the current liberal order. They both just envision something different coming afterwards. So I think attacking either group.
How is he wrong? Again, how is he wrong?
People is totally fair game.
True.
It's equally important.
Sam Hyde is a rapist and a pedophile Nazi.
What? I don't know about the rape shit. The pedophile shit, I don't know. I saw those 4chan posts a long time ago. I don't know how true they are. But like, why not? Like, there are so many things to attack Sam Hyde over before going to the pedo rapist shit. But one of the things, and I blame Ethan for this shit, especially because the HGH community loves to play this. They started to finally make posts on their subreddit calling this out. The pedo jacketing of every single person you don't like is so crazy. It's so insane today that every single person is a fucking pedophile. Holy shit.
By the way. And speaking of Nazis, let's get back to Nick Fuentes. Now, while Nick and Destiny used to be more frequent collaborators, Destiny has since stopped seemingly returning Nick's calls, or probably more so that Nick has wormed his way into the mainstream enough he doesn't need Destiny for clout anymore. And I'm sure a slew of heated and personal debates between the two didn't help matters at all.
I'm not gonna say. Wait, but I thought we were collaborating and loved each other so much. Also, I did tell this whole back and forth for what happened on this. That Nick got into the Kanye crowd, that he started to blackball me from shows, especially I think Sosnick was doing a show. I told him that if he starts blackballing me now, that after the Kanye shit falls apart in a few months, I'm going to not do shows with him, and then he asked to do shows afterwards, and I said I didn't want to because he fucking blackballed me. Like, this whole thing is public. I've talked through this like 50 billion times. You don't have to guess.
You didn't take notes to watch a movie?
Yes, that's how conspiracy theories work, because there's going to be 7,000 things brought up that I've never fucking heard in my entire life. That's how these things always work.
Also, I like how she keeps playing clips from this fucking video saying of me talking about why I don't want to do this. I did do this. I did spend a whole fucking week watching the new Pearl Harbor, and I did go through a debunking of every single stupid fucking point. I've never been a bigger believer in the official 9/11 story than after the week of research that I did on that fucking video. And you know what? After the week, Fuentes didn't even want to fucking talk about it because he knew I was right on all of it. Yeah. So is that what are we bringing up here?
Clout anymore. And I'm sure a slew of heated and personal debates between the two didn't help matters at all.
I'm not gonna sit here.
You didn't take notes to watch a movie?
Yes, that's how conspiracy theories work. Because there's gonna be 7,000 things about that I've never fucking heard in my entire life. That's how these things
There
always
were.
work.
It's a movie. Let's just watch it.
Take this. Wait, Destiny, I just can't believe that this dude really said, well, you want to debate me on
Nico,
TV.
give me a time and a date.
I think it's a waste of time.
Give me a time and a
That's why I
date.
won't debate you on 9/11.
This last video is...
But I did go through that entire fucking dog slot fucking video, the whole fucking thing, and we didn't have that debate on 9/11 because I was able to prove why every single point. I mean, like other people have done the work. Popular Mechanics was probably one of the most well-known debunkers of like loose change, which a lot of that got rolled into this new Pearl Harbor video or whatever. But I did do that.
Interesting because right after yelling at each other, they schedule a debate on stream, like I talked about earlier, because Destiny needs time to research the JFK assassination, but he's already agreed to debate.
Was it JFK? I
never
thought this was the 9/11 video.
Organize. If you want to do an organized conversation on the JFK assassination, we can do that. Would you like to set one of those up? We can schedule it right now if you want to.
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on. Wait, give me a time and a date.
Did we? Why the JFK thing? Was this after? Oh, wait. No, wait. I don't understand if this was someone. Because I think after I did the 9/11 thing, and he saw that I did all the research on the 9/11 thing, he decided that he didn't want to debate the 9/11 thing. And then I think after that, I think I'm harassing him and I'm asking what he wants to debate. And then we might have agreed to the JFK thing. Oh, it was the JFK thing because I watched an 9/11 video. But I think after this, I think we had our falling out, so we never actually got to do this debate.
Let's do September.
This is another interesting moment because, as we'll see more in the future, it shows how Destiny seemingly goes into any debate that will have him with a predetermined POV, not out of like sincere belief or knowledge, but just because it gives him a chance to argue.
The fuck do you think a debate is?
I'm a believer of the JFK assassination story. Like, this criticism would only be true if I would have gone into that researching the topic and wouldn't have changed my mind regardless of the evidence I read. Like, it could have been the fact that I did a bunch of research on the JFK assassination and then I don't believe in the official story. No, that could happen. I'm pretty sure there are topics that I've gone into researching in the past where after doing some research, I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I... It's harder for that as the lab leak thing was a huge thing recently. Although I don't know if there's been anything that autistic. Yeah, this is the Hasan talking point. That I'm like a debate mercenary who just takes on debate points to just debate people to debate things, I guess.
A predetermined POV, not out of like sincere belief or knowledge, but just because it gives him a chance to argue. And you might say, well, again, just because he doesn't agree with someone doesn't mean he can't have a polite conversation. Let's address that point. You don't need to agree with everything someone says to associate with them. That's true. We all have that one conservative coworker we're polite to and maybe even friendly with. It's not feasible to go through life being a dick to everyone who disagrees with you at every turn. Except Destiny's platforming goes so beyond simply debating people and seems to extend into a willingness to be chummy with anyone he perceives to help with some good old metric growth. We've already discussed Lauren Southern, but Nick Fuentes is, of course, the most notable example. If you watch the early debates and interactions between Destiny and Nick, you might think of them.
He's bigger than everybody, though. He's bigger than everybody, though. And has been for a long time. And as far as like left leaning people are concerned, he's bigger than everybody. Like who is he trying to... I don't get it.
Having something of a principled rivalry.
That what is white is a somewhat arbitrary concept. Now we go forward to today. You're talking to me. I'm half what?
2017. Okay.
Yeah. I'm half European, half Cuban, and people consider me white. Nick Fuentes is a white nationalist. His last name is Fuentes, and he is 25% Hispanic. So it seems like the whole concept of white is just kind of ridiculous.
The problem is that over time it would be shown that Stephen could easily be called a friend of Nick. I'm not touching the probably fake alleged leak.
Also, she's mentioned Nick Fuentes, Lauren Southern. Who else? They're all Nick and him are clearly not friends. Lauren, I don't know that whole situation, but it sounds like they had a relationship, and he clearly didn't believe in her views or agree with her views. So who else? What else? Who else?
Sex tape between them because
I'm not gonna touch it. This is incredibly fucking cringe. I don't want to do this. That fake sex tape was actually my dick getting sucked by this person in a Stephen Bunnell mask. I didn't want to say anything, and it is really cringe, and I feel bad. revealing that now, but that was, they had a Stephen Bunnell rubber mask, and then it was my dick being sucked by this person in that video. I'm sorry. I don't want to say that, but, you know, since they don't want to touch it, I don't really want to touch it, but that's, you know, I'll just say it. Okay, my bad.
Come on, there's plenty to critique here without reaching so far. It doesn't really matter also if Destiny and Nick hooked up or not, because Destiny...
Also, by the way, I like how it's funny and epic and based because I'm a guy, to reference like my leaked revenge porn material that was leaked by a fucking pedophile child, whatever the fuck crazy thing this guy, the George dude, whatever in the UK was. I like how that's like funny and epic and based for this person. Good one. Absolutely based and epic. Nice.
So true. And she had the fucking nerve to say that he was sexually harassing her. And yet she's dogpiling the fact that he was the actual victim more so than anybody in this whole revenge porn situation. So like, fuck you. Fuck her. This is absolutely, like, again, he's over an hour in now. He's so much better than me. He's so much better than me.
Simply courted the controversy to, you guessed it, get more attention.
Obviously, I'm not going to do a whole deep intro or whatever on all this. I will say that I think a friend of mine's account from that I talked to like 3 or 4 years ago ended up getting compromised, and you know,
the rose.
Sometimes you just gotta roll with the memes. It is what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay. Sometimes it happens.
Is he memeing? Is he serious? It doesn't matter. It gets people talking about him, and he knows that.
It was...
If it's his stream, who is he marketing this to? Who is seeing this apart from people who are already watching him?
The fact that somebody leaked like almost 30 explicit videos plus a whole bunch of logs on Kiwi Farms. Fucking Kiwi Farms server literally went down because of how many people were accessing explicit revenge porn leaked videos of me. Obviously, I have to say something. There's not much I'm going to say because I don't really feel like this is especially not the style of content that I'm doing anymore because it's a year after I basically just converted entirely to political content. Am I memeing? What the fuck do you want me to say? What the fuck am I even supposed to say to this?
Is he memeing? Is he serious? It doesn't matter. It gets people talking about him, and he knows that.
True. That's what I really wanted. Yes.
They talk on Discord. Again, not an altogether weird thing to have other content creators on Discord, but the way they talk about their back and forth, at least in this clip from 2022, sure seems...
Wait, does she even know what she's referring to there? I don't even know.
It's like there were other friendly conversations happening that weren't just scheduling debates.
What was the accusation that I made? You said that, well, what you texted me on Discord is, it's your community, matey, and basically saying that I'm culpable.
Well, hold on. Did I say that?
You literally said, it's your. I said, you're blaming me for something.
Oh, so this was when I was with Mr. Girl was in the orbit still, and we were doing content. Mr. Girl got into a fight with Big Tech. And I think Big Tech and them decided that they didn't like Mr. Girl for whatever reason. And then from Cozy or from the America First board, I forget what it was even, where this board was, they started like spam reporting Big Girl, Mr. Girl shit. And then I told Nick, I was like, hey, like I'm not going to debate anybody on that platform. I'm not going to talk to anybody or whatever. If you guys are spam reporting people's shit and taking it down, like that's it. And then Nick was like, oh, well, I can't control them or whatever. I'm like, bro, it's on Cozy. It's your shit. I know you can control these people.
Thanks.
I say that?
You literally said.
That's what this is in reference to.
I said, you're blaming me for something someone else said. You said, it's your community, Beatty.
Yep.
That's what you said.
Yes. So what am I saying there? Am I saying that like this is one? Let's be a little sophisticated in our understanding. Am I saying that like you called for him to be reported, or that you led for his mass banning? Because you say that a few times in this video, making it sound like I'm saying that you specifically called for this. I've never levied that accusation though.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're saying that.
That's kind of the implication I've gotten from watching. I can go back and watch clips, but it kind of feels like in the beginning of this video that you're saying that I've accused you of that several times. Because I have to pause and correct. I've never accused Nick directly of doing it. Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I don't.
Okay, that's fair. I don't believe that's what you said in this video, but okay.
No, he knows this is a white supremacist. He knows this is someone who does tangible harm in his ideology. And when the debate lights are up, he attacks. So then ask yourself, if you're a fan of Destiny, would you say this about somebody?
That's black people, even when they disagree with me. Not even when they're useful pawns for my liberal agenda.
Nick, you literally think black people are genetically inferior. You think that black people are genetically, intellectually inferior.
With more extremist figures like Nick Fuentes or maybe Lawrence Southern or something like that, and then eventually go down that extremist road.
And then go and hang out with someone like this? In the process of hanging out with Nick in a more casual setting, Destiny seems to be genuine.
This stream broke so many people's brains. Oh my God.
Genuinely trying to reach or connect with him and engage with his ideas about conspiracies, as though there's potential for good faith. He's trying to reach them where they're at, a strategy which I'm sure he and his defenders would assert is better for deconstructing people's worldview, getting them to agree to a more rational premise in an effort to push them down a path of de-radicalizing and educating themselves further.
I mean, you say that, but like I said, I'm pretty sure right now, pretty sure that Minnesota Tribune article was Vance talking about how to throw people like me in jail. Pretty sure I'm demonetized on YouTube because of like a collective hit job from Elon shit fuck Musk, a few people in Congress, and fucking Jesse Waters on Fox News playing a clip of mine. I'm pretty like, what this idea, like I'm persona non grata on the right for no, it's not even like, I don't know.
True.
I'm curious what their, was that actually 2025? No, this is like 2022. They
I was
fucked
gonna say
this
this
because this video is shittily researched.
I was just gonna say that like that's like insane to think that this happened last year. I'm tired.
I'm curious what this person's theory of mind would be for me for why did you go so nuclear on conservatives after the Trump assassination thing. Now, if you just listen to the words that I say, I think it's pretty clear. I think I say that I played nice with conservatives for a long time, but even when I'm playing nice and giving a little bit of ground, they're giving nothing. It feels like playing nice with them while they're giving nothing, and their side is getting even more radical over and over and over again. At some point, you have to say, enough is enough. This is stupid. I would rather just energize my base now or be a stronger voice on the left because trying to play nice with you guys isn't getting us anywhere, and your side is getting so fucking crazy. You're not willing to give any ground to these companies. Like, I've said all this stuff, and by the way, believe it or not, all of my public behavior and all of my public everything tracks exactly with all the shit that I say about this. They would just accuse you of farming any engagement. Yeah, but that's such a low IQ position. Like, couldn't I be farming engagement? Couldn't I be farming more engagement with the right wing by doing more Daily Wire interviews, right? If I'm on back-to-back-to-back interviews with Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and Candace Owens, why would I burn those bridges, right? It's just so stupid.
The problem is that Nick doesn't and has never wanted that. He's a shameless, conniving, opportunist rat fucker, and always has been. Much of his irony-poisoned audience has been conditioned to behave the same way. Nick and Steven actually probably get along so well because they operate very similarly.
Oh my God. Also, if you can't differentiate the political people or the content creators or figureheads from the audience, you're fucking retarded. I don't know why you even would bother trying to pretend to do any kind of analysis. The figureheads of movements, not every MAGA person, very few people possess the same theory of mind as Donald Trump. Like the people on top at Fox News who are lying about things and deliberately lying about things, that's a special type of evil that a frontline MAGA person isn't even cognizant of. They're not, people like my mom are not out here knowingly lying about shit, or the average MAGA person is not knowingly lying about shit. The average J6 person probably thought the election was stolen. Donald Trump knew that it wasn't. All the people around him knew that it was bullshit, right? There's a huge difference there. And to pretend that just because Nick is never going to come to my perspective, which he won't, by the way, even if I debate Nick in the future, I don't think I'm ever going to change his mind. Of course not. He's got a whole political ideology or movement behind him, and he's invested and incentivized to be the leader of that political movement. But that doesn't mean you don't try to fight for their followers, right?
Audience has been conditioned to behave the same way. Nick and Steven actually probably get along so well because they operate very similarly. They were formed in the same molten internet sludge, trolling transgressive forums and using shock tactics.
Excuse me. No, we weren't. Fuentes is like 10 years younger than me, I think. I'm 37. This guy, my background is in pro gaming. That's where all my toxic, crazy shit behavior comes. We do not have the same background. This person must be, I was being generous earlier when I said their age, but like, I feel like this person must be maybe Nick's age? Is she like 27? Is there like an age for this person anywhere? Is that doxing? I don't give a fuck.
To get their
because I don't know how you can think that we I guess in a very shallow way, I guess I can see how you might think that. But.
Platforms. One fun argument from an earlier debate stream we've looked at involved an anecdote Steven called Nick out on, where Nick tried to chicken shit dance his way around the real reason he was kicked out of a young Republican group. He said some racist shit, but thought he was in more trustworthy company.
So it's many things over the course of 5 years.
Was that really all you said?
Well, I didn't know. Was that really the only thing you said?
Nick got super triggered about this debate, by the way.
You're bro, you're bullshitting, bro. Just tell us, what did you say?
I feel like I remember there being a leaked phone call and some other stuff that came out too that got you kicked out of school too, no? Was that?
Yeah, that is something
about like if a white girl dates a black person, it's the same as like fucking a dog, something like that, maybe? Am I remembering this? Am I remembering this correctly? Sure, okay, so I just want to be clear, like, notice how slippery he is between how he defines positions. Earlier, we were talking about how, like, you can't, like, his point earlier was that black people are black.
I just don't understand. I feel like this is, like, my response video to this person is contained in this video.
Yeah.
Like, here I am, very clearly calling out Nick's tactics to a bunch of people, literally in front of Nick himself on my stream. Like, what the fuck?
people are brown, white people are white. Looking like the difference between black and brown people is really dumb. But now when we're talking about Africa, all of a sudden that place where everybody's just black, well now it's the most ethnically diverse nation on earth. How the fuck do we go from one to the other? And then secondly, earlier he's talking about like really diverse places, you know, cause crime. The more diversity, the more crime. But what do you hear white nationalists always say over and over again? What's the number one killer? Black men, other black people. It's not like we've got like race wars going on in the United States where a lot of ethnic diversity exists. It's usually people that are victimizing themselves.
Yeah,
it's not black people running out killing white people running out killing white people. It's just crime within.
Yeah, this young Gideon guy or whatever. The young Don, not Gideon. This young Don guy, I'm pretty sure was like a left winger now. No, I don't know if he's a left winger now, but I know I got him on the J6 stuff, but I think he started other political things after these conversations too. So
communities.
Okay. No. Now, we will talk about Destiny thinking he's safe to say shit like slurs when he's in trusted company later, but more.
Oh my god. Oh, how is it so fucking one-dimensional? And the thing is, it's not even one-dimensional because everybody knows the difference. Everybody knows the difference between these things, between calling somebody a slur versus having edgy or even some kind of racial humor. Everybody knows the difference between those, and to pretend otherwise is so fucking stupid.
More importantly and disingenuous. Nick and Destiny is that they will each take any opportunity they can for more attention or notoriety. The disconnect is that while Nick is sincere in his beliefs, at least in terms of offending people and sowing chaos, Destiny seemingly can't help but see the debates, positions, and beliefs as these detached, abstract game pieces. Nick has shown this again and again and again. He's navigated around the periphery of conservative politics for over a decade, quietly running his little Nazi stream like a Zoomer George Lincoln Rockwell, complete with a shitty little mustache. Just like Steven, he spends plenty of time going on random misogynistic and otherwise shit-headed podcasts that appeal to a wider and wider demographic, using his guise as a regular guy to lull people who don't know any better into thinking, hey,
but he agrees
really
with those misogynists.
Yeah, but we're pushing two
completely different things.
Ideologies. But
the fuck?
I wonder, how does Nick Fuentes, a actual white supremacist, violent, woman-hating, and very likely gay Nazi, have so many fans? Why is he everywhere? It's because every time someone has debated him or had him on their podcast, they've platformed him and helped in his overall goal to weasel his way to a larger viewer base.
I'm sorry.
First of all, yes, Nick Fuentes is either gay or what I think he is asexual. He's apparently still a virgin. He's very misogynistic. I think he doesn't realize that he's ace. And I can imagine that's a difficult place to be in with this whole Andrew Tate. You gotta get a trad wife, Christian nationalist conservative bullshit. It's probably a really difficult place to be in where you don't give a fuck about procreating, but you have to, be concerned about, the great replacement theory. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I'm pretty sure he is asexual.
Again, if this is your view on things, quit. Get the fuck out. You are so fucking hopeless. If you think that just exposing somebody to some other idea is going to radically, completely suck them off of that ideology, whatever that ideology is, I want to join it. I want to be part of that one because that's clearly the winning ideology. If Nazism or Mexican-Nazism, whatever the fuck pushes, if that ideology is so pervasive, so powerful that it can be a multicultural, multi-ethnic, pulls in everybody the microsecond to hear it, that probably sounds like the best ideology there is. I want to be part of that one, okay? Like, how stupid to think that people were listening to me and like, oh, that Fuentes guy. Fuck, if anything, I fucking shuffled more people over to fucking Shitman Gold or Vosh or Hasan for sure than fucking Nick Fuentes.
He's not a genuine actor, and anyone who's observed him for any amount of time could probably tell you that.
Why does she keep saying this?
Like she's saying we spent the last half hour trying to tie him into some kind of friend group with Nick Fuentes. In this entire time, she's shown nothing but clips of him dogging this dude the fuck out. So what the fuck?
Insightful. Fuentes is obviously always going to be pushing his political ideology. They're not going. Fuentes' ideas are not going to change in response to a debate with him. I know this. Why do you pretend like you're revealing something here? Obviously,
Destiny could probably tell you that. I would just speculate that he probably doesn't care because every time he's had somebody so controversial on, it did numbers, and that's what matters to him. So in the end, if someone is authentic about their beliefs, doesn't seem to enter into Stephen's calculus. At least it didn't back then.
It literally doesn't. I think I've said on stream it literally doesn't because people ask me this all the time. Oh, do you think that they're genuine or not genuine with beliefs? I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if they're genuine or not. The reality is when they say them, people listen to those beliefs and they take them genuinely.
And the
it doesn't
people
matter if Sean
who are
Hannity
genuine
at the end of the day believes what he's saying
it.
or not. What matters is the people that listen to Sean Hannity speak genuinely start to believe the things he says. Now, for an individual moral analysis, you could argue that if they know they're lying, it's even worse. But I mean, that's not really relevant when it comes to arguing with a person.
In the 2024 video where Turkey Tom interviewed and spent a day with Destiny, he directly calls out Destiny for platforming Nick Fuentes.
Him?
Anybody that goes into like the kid jokes or the wife jokes, I never associate with again.
That's the lie.
What?
Well, I feel like it's like you hang out with a lot of people who you maybe would consider kind of, I don't know. I mean, okay.
That's usually my red line. That's why I cut off Sneeko and Zerka completely forever.
Here's one criticism I have.
The kid jokes or the wife joke? Oh, for people that start personally going in on my kid or my wife. Yeah, for sure. But
yeah,
real criticism.
Yeah, criticize me, baby.
Fuente.
Whether or not he wasn't out here wouldn't have changed him coming on my platform. I think for a while America First was trying to get away from the crazy ultra like.
How? None of this is contrary to what I just said, though. Typically the line for me usually is if you start getting like very nasty personal to me, then fuck you. Then I'm not going to associate with you. I don't think. I'm sure Fuentes has done this to me at some point. He must have, just by virtue of his platform. I would imagine. I imagine he has. But like generally when people start to cross this line, I just don't associate with them anymore, right? Like, but that has nothing to do with their particular beliefs. It just has to do with how cordial they are towards me as an individual to do the debates with them.
Calculus. At least it didn't back then. In the 2024 video where Turkey Tom interviewed and spent a day with Destiny, he directly calls out Destiny for platforming Nick Fuentes.
Him?
Anybody that goes into like the kid jokes or the wife jokes, I never associate with again.
That's the lie.
What?
Well, I feel like it's like you hang out with a lot of people who you maybe would consider kind of, I don't know. I mean, okay.
That's usually my red line. That's why I cut off Sneeko and Zerka completely forever.
Here's one criticism I have. Real criticism.
Yeah, criticize me, baby.
Fuente.
Whether or not he wasn't out here wouldn't have changed him coming on my platform. I think for a while America First was trying to get away from the crazy ultra like Jewish Nazi shit. Maybe there's still like memes and jokes, but I do think they were, especially with like AFPAC and everything, I think they were trying to move towards like a little bit more mainstream, like probably still like a little bit of the Nazi jokes and shit, but less than they were before.
To which Destiny responds that he saw, at the time, America First as trying to move away from the anti-Semitic and radical image and become more respectable and mainstream. He directly acknowledges and talks.
I don't know why she's tangling these two completely separate things together of like, what will I have a debate with a person, like what is the behavior that I'll tolerate, right? You can have some crazy radical beliefs and I'll probably debate you depending on the subject matter where we're debating or whatever. But once you start getting into the weird personal shit, I probably just won't ever want to share a platform with you or do anything with you. That's not tied to my belief or my feeling that prior to Kanye West, I still feel this way, that I'm not trying to say they were abandoning all anti-Semitism. I know that Mr. Girl and some retards in my audience are like, oh, you said that they love Jews now. I just think that they were trying to minimize that or get that to be a lesser part of their overall thing, and they were focusing more on the populist messaging than just the relentless Jew obsession, which I think they were way more into earlier on.
It's about how he thought a lot of it was just memes, as though that makes the sentiments of what's being said any less harmful. And then when asked why he cut Nick off, Destiny chalks it up to the Groypers basically being annoying.
Because Fuentes was on a bit of an upshoot before the Kanye shit. AFPAC was really successful. They got, what, like 2 Congress people?
Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor.
Yeah, that's what being lefty has ever done for their shit on YouTube. When I'm criticizing his point of view, when I tell people, you should just criticize the point of view. Because the problem is that when you run into somebody, especially somebody who's like a little bit more politically adept, like Fuentes or America First, oh, you're a Nazi. They're going to start bringing up like a million things that like actual Nazis believe. And they're going to say, well, we break from Nazis here. And then you're just going to look like an idiot. The current reason I listen to Black is because he does the crazy aggressive deplatforming shit. Like the Groyper people will spam report people if they don't like you.
So
that's just them being annoying? Are people who are spam reporting your platforms? This is our job, motherfucker. What do you mean? You don't think that maintaining your income to have a life that's just people being annoying? Okay, good. That's a good faith interpretation. What I'm saying. It's not even an interpretation. I'm just saying it. Okay, cool.
Oh, his bottom line. That's when he decided
his bottom line, his job. Yeah, my job matters to me, motherfucker. Yes.
To call it quits with platforming a Nazi. This is just one person, Destiny.
What, like, so this person says that they'll debate people until they try to get rid of all of their income? Yes. Yeah.
He repeatedly collaborated with. Here's him chumming out with people like Sneeko, Aiden Ross, Myron Gaines, and plenty of other assholes. Even now, because of his audience and pedantic approach to life, people might still be willing to lend him
pedantic
and say, or maybe even he's tearing down those ideas. He's going into these spaces to expose them for being bad actors. Except you can do all of that without engaging, let alone platforming these people personally. And also,
yeah, but the problem is that hasn't worked historically. You can tell because Donald Trump won a second fucking term, which is crazy, but also because you guys lose the ability to even have a conversation about other people's beliefs, as evidenced by the hour and 14 minutes of slop. Maybe, dude, I should make a hit piece video on me. These people suck. Nobody can have an actual criticism of me, an actual measured criticism of me for fucking anything. It's just been an hour and 15 minutes. First of all, I'm playing like some of my greatest hits. Thank you. Okay, I'm fucking dominating. I sound a lot better in some of these old arguments than I remember. Okay, it's just the same, retreading the same boring ground over and over and over again because you're incapable of actually engaging with somebody who has a different belief system than your own. And then the people that you do engage with, you don't engage with the actual person. You engage with the most flimsily constructed straw man possible of that person. You don't even have the ability to respond to what they're saying. It's crazy.
he doesn't do that. After watching so many of these streams and debates, I have come to two conclusions. The first is that Aiden Ross might actually have no brain, just a hollow cavity with some kind of jello inside. I'll give it up in this stream where Steven, through basically no effort, convinces Aiden of an existence of Mein Kampf 2 featuring OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Hitler said motivational things too, but I mean, I don't know what the point of that is. Like, the overall takeaway from Andrew Tate is that he's a scam artist, a sex trafficker, and a guy that built his entire life on, now that he's fucking Muslim, he's built his whole life on haram shit, like gambling and selling sex and scamming men. It's interesting because I think there's a quote from Hitler saying OnlyFans is the second Holocaust, and he said that before he even did the first one, so I'm sure you agree with that at least, right?
Wait, Hitler said OnlyFans is the Holocaust?
The second Holocaust.
How did Hitler know?
By the way, listen, Aiden Ross is kind of retarded, but I don't even know if you guys, you know that Aiden Ross is memeing here, right? Like, he doesn't actually believe this, right?
Hitler know.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, huh? Just because Hitler might have said a couple good things doesn't mean that Hitler's a good guy, right? Same thing with Aiden, or not Aiden, same thing with Andrew Tate. I'm sure that Andrew Tate has said some good things. He has a listener who says good things, but overall he's like a scam artist. I don't think he's a good guy.
Okay, show me where he said something about Hitler said OnlyFans is going to be the second Holocaust. Please show me where he said that.
It was in the second version of Mein Kampf, but I think that ISIS burned that down when they invaded Germany last.
What the fuck? There's a second Mein Kampf?
Yeah, but he'd written it. There was only one version because he'd written it when he was in that fucking bunker before he killed himself.
Yeah, damn.
No notes.
Where does this come from?
Flawless victory. But the other conclusion I've come to, despite his fervent arguing against these ideas and wanting to attack people's ideas, not them personally, the reason Steven doesn't distance himself strongly is partially because he's grown his platform and business several times over with these tactics, but also because he doesn't seem to take people like this seriously in their ideology or threats. He seems to think that everyone else is like him. They turn on their worldview when the cameras are rolling, and off camera, they're just totally chill, laid back people. He seems to think that just because he will make edgy jokes about people being killed, when someone else says it, they're also just joking.
That's literally the exact opposite of everything I've ever said in my entire life.
I cannot think of any other reason why he'd still be saying shit like this in 2025, despite ostensibly cutting ties with Nick Fuentes.
You want to talk about racism? Let's talk about racism.
You've admitted you're a racist, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
Own it.
okay, that's fine. You're perfectly entitled in a free democratic society to stare down the barrel of this camera and tell me you're racist. People can judge you accordingly. Many people who have assumed that you're racist will now have heard it from your own lips.
I'm getting so tired of doing optics evaluations or rhetoric evaluations because I'd rather just debate on the facts, and you guys have gotten so obsessed with it. It's boring to talk about. But Nick set himself up with a defensible out at the beginning of this interview by saying, when I'm on stream, when I'm making jokes, like I'm being hyperbolic, I'm not, we're telling jokes here. It's not like 100% serious stuff. Like, obviously it's small stream, small amount of people. These are not the messages that I would say to the entire world. So he set himself up with a good out here, but now he is biting the bullet on every single thing he said on his stream.
Retarded.
Like the response.
I'm going over how, I'm just giving a take on, like, Nick set himself up with a response that he could have given. He set that line of defense up at the beginning of the interview, and then he abandoned it because Pierce triggered the fuck out of him. But I'm not. I keep muting because Day is going at, she's stemming, so you can probably hear her in the background. Anyway, yeah, I saw this stream, and again, she's completely disingenuous here as usual, taking him completely out of context. He is not in any way, shape, or form trying to advise Nick Fuentes. He's pointing out how fucking dumb this motherfucker is because he fucking gave himself an out at the beginning by saying, oh, this is hyperbole and you really believe this? And then he literally 180'd that and owned just being racist when he could have very well have said, oh, you think I'm being serious? And given himself that out. And so, yeah, I mean, it was just a horrible performance by Nick Fuentes, by fucking Piers Morgan of all people. He got, and Destiny was pointing that out. That I think he believed that thing. Like, Nick is probably a racist, probably anti-Semitic. I don't have a personal relationship with him recently, but like I'm sure he harbors a lot of bigoted beliefs. Is her takeaway from this, as I'm talking through Nick's rhetorical strategy for this debate, is her takeaway that I think that for Nick, all of it is just jokes and memes? But now he is biting the bullet on every single thing he said on his stream.
No, her takeaway is that you are trying to defend him. Her takeaway is that you're saying, oh man, you could have given yourself an out. No, you were just pointing out, the fact that he set his own trap.
Like the response when Pierce says this is like, well, no, I'm being hyperbolic, but like what I'm trying to explain to you is like, imagine the fear of an average white person when there are people getting set on fire on buses. Was that a black guy that did it? I don't remember. Or if you're that poor white Ukrainian woman that got stabbed to death by a black guy, she would have avoided black men on the bus. If she would have gotten off as soon as that crazy black dude entered, she might still be alive today. Like, these are like your more kind of like, I think, like publicly rhetorically favorable outs. I feel like he set himself up for these
publicly rhetorically favorable outs
at the beginning of this interview, but then he's in like full combat mode now.
True.
I don't know why he switched.
In this clip, Nick goes over how he's essentially using his recent interview with Piers Morgan.
What does she think? 4 months? 4 months for this video? I am so curious to see her notes. It's got to be such slop, dude.
As a publicity stunt, and how those publicity stunts have given him more and more viral attention. This is while he's whining about being canceled, because of course. And from that same stream, Destiny goes over how he himself will do the same, tailoring his approach and tactics to best spread when utilizing another's platform.
He's conducting himself like this is a platform of equals, instead of he is getting access to Piers' platform, and so he needs to market it like that. Like when I go on Piers' platform, I view it as though I'm on Piers' platform, I'm trying to angle out kind of a little bit his audience, fighting different battles here. But I think that's what Nick needs to do, because I don't think Nick is big enough to be like, well, I can't believe you do that. You're being mean to me, which is kind of what he's done for part. I can't believe you'd attack my dad. Like, well, you brought him up first, bro. I mean, I don't think that you can just pull out the victim argument when you're coming onto his platform. I think you have to defend it a little better if you want.
But the most telling moment.
Yeah, I've said this a million times. I vary my approach. People, policy, platform. Of course.
Critiquing Nick's debate performance.
But like, yeah, it's not a secret.
Yeah, what is
to his
that?
audience why Nick doesn't just drop the Jew stuff.
The one thing I don't understand too, sometimes I think maybe I overthink this or overanalyze it. Because do you have to do the Jew shit? Like, I feel like Nick would have a much higher ceiling on what his popularity could be. Or he would uncap it if you could just like drop the Jew shit. Like, do you really think can't you? Because you can do all the same xenophobic, racist stuff around immigration.
This isn't a statement on whether or not I think he's actually Semitic. This is a statement of like political efficacy. Politicians will talk about or not talk about certain things based on the growth that they're looking for or the voters that they're trying to capture. Nick is trying to grow a political movement. I personally feel like the Jew shit hard ceilings a lot of it, at least for older people. I don't know, maybe millennial is where the cutoff is, where they don't care about the Jew shit anymore.
And here is where, again, Destiny's too sweet for this world, sweet summer child. Because, like, again, he's looking at the logic of it. He's looking at the reasoning of it. Hi, baby. Yes. But he's looking at, well, it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't, just be a little bit less bigoted publicly. You do that in private, because in that way, if you're trying to get to B, then you got to get from A and toward, like he's literally trying to understand and work out the logic behind this man's actions. And I just have to go back to, again, it's not that he's trying to help Nick Fuentes. It's not like he's trying to encourage him or like he believes anything Nick Fuentes believes. He's literally incapable of being illogical. and that's a gift and a curse. And I think the curse aspect of it is that he cannot see that this person is a fucking piece of shit demon, period. And yeah, so like I feel bad for Destiny in the sense that, if he were a less innocent person, like he would be able to, point his ire at them more appropriately. And it's just sad that this woman is seeing this as him being, having this transformative or associative property of Nick Fuentes onto Destiny, when in reality, it's just that he's too nice. He's too kind. He cannot see that this person is rotten. He's like, he literally is like, logically, you should do this. He's a fucking Vulcan. He's a fucking Vulcan to this Ferengi bitch right here. So yeah, it's crazy.
And Nick seems like a strategic guy to me. So I just don't know why he wouldn't drop it or why he would. It just seems like same thing with the women hating. It seems like a very unnecessarily divisive thing that.
Okay, so I guess when the live ends, the feed cuts and you're done. So now that I know that, I'll be better for future reference. But again, I just wanted to follow along and see what he had to say in regards to those particular allegations. She did more to show and prove his points than she did whatever her points were. I mean, it was just so obvious, like 10 minutes in, that she literally was just attacking the straw man that she built up for herself, or that Hasan built up for her. I'm glad that's over. What a cunt. And fuck her. Seriously. So if you are somebody who watched her stream or is coming in from any of these other, Destiny, Sex Pestiny, Molestiny streams where they have also built for you this mirage of who he is supposedly at heart, please, 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 just follow him, the real him, for a bit. Listen to just how much it irks him that people are taking so much of this out of context, or again, attacking the straw man version of who he's supposed to be. So you can see for yourself that he's a genuine dude. He's a really sweet, empathetic man who's doing his best to, be a voice of reason in these crazy times. And so that's why I stand with Destiny. I hope that you will too. This is probably gonna be my last drama slop coverage of him, because we got to get into the substantive issues, like I said before. And that's really what he's all about. And so now that we got all that out the way, like whatever you thought you heard about him was false. Let's build together. Let's grow. Let's try to take our country back. So follow him, follow me. Standwithsophie.com is your place to go for survival guides and go bag lists and whatever you need to help you make it in Trump's Fourth Reich. And also go to discord.gg/DestinyPOL, or is it DGGPOL? I will find the link and put it. Okay. I will find the link and put it right here. And that is actually Destiny's political action arm. And it's where you can go to find your region, get involved, do some phone banking. Even if you don't have an imminent election, it's a place to go to, learn about activism, look at pragmatic papers, monthly, I believe, newsletter that comes out with amazing articles on what's going on from all kinds of different contributors. And so it's a great space to be in if you're looking for something to actually fucking do beyond just a single vote or beyond thoughts and fucking prayers. So yeah, we got work to do. So I'm glad we were able to at least address some of these things that people are clearly concerned about, if not just to show that they're baseless. And so, this is Sophie signing out on our first ever Stand with Destiny video. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.